Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Good to see you. Good to be here. I've been up since 3:30 this morning, so it feels like we're halfway through the day already. But wherever you are and however you may be listening, thanks for making us part of your day. It's always a pleasure to be here with you today. Not today, every day. Today especially, but every day. And I think Jen's here with us too. Good morning, Jen.
I am here.
What kind of lunatic's always up at 3:30? How are you always up at 3:30? That's crazy. Get it together. Able assistance. Maybe you're an assistant that's able to be available at 3:30. Jen, what's new?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Robert's crying again, so that's not new.
How's he already crying?
So he was like, how I get everything started. It's like I have all my screens up and stuff like that. He was the first one here, like an hour before the show. And he's like, "Hi, everyone, I'm back. I can't wait for today's stream. Hopefully, I won't get in trouble with Jen."
Oh.
And so then he's crying. And then so the funny thing, I don't know why Auto mod flagged this. It was like, yeah, I know Jen's got it out for me. Robert, if I had it out for you, you'd be gone.
Damn.
So, just saying. Just saying.
All right. Well, best of luck to you. Thank you. You love the jacuzzi head. Thank you. This is a new one. This is from, I think it's a brand called Iconic Arizona or something like that. This is we can zoom in a little closer. That is a what are those things that chase me called again? Javelina playing a banjo or a guitar. So there we go.
That's festive.
Great. Thank you.
Very cool.
Did you say festive?
Yeah, it's just the word that popped into my head. I actually was
very Christmas themed.
I'm sure anything can be Christmas themed. So
it's gray. So I would say it's charcoal gray or gunmetal.
Gray.
Maybe.
I would say that looks green.
I know, but I think it's just the I think it's the camera and the filters, and when I try and change the colors so that the background shows up, I think it turns a little green.
Is the thing on your mic, is that green or is that a different color?
This?
There's on the side of the mic.
I'm touching it with my finger right now. I'm stroking it. It's black. Green? Black. So I think it's got. Yeah, I hear you, but it's black.
That's weird.
It's like the same color as this part down here. Exact same color.
It must be like a reflection from the light or something.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right. Any updates on the dating life, Jen? How's that going?
Do you want
to talk about it?
No.
Oh, okay. Guys, Jen doesn't want to talk about her dating life today. Sorry.
No, I mean, I'm refreshing the roster. I had to remove some from the team, so we're
finger looking good. Removed from the team, right?
Yeah. So I mean, we're looking to backfill some of those positions and see how it goes.
Do you actually drop them from the team, or do you just like stop talking?
I mean, there's some that I've dropped from the team. Like there was.
You tell them.
I know. I'm not going to explain myself. It's just if we're matched and I'm not interested, we're just unmatched. So.
Wait, that guy had your phone number.
Which one?
The finger looking good guy.
That one's not off the roster yet.
That guy's not off the roster?
Not yet, no.
God damn. Okay.
We kind of discussed this a little bit.
I forgot. I thought we decided yesterday he was off the roster. That's my bad. KFC.
Wait. Oh, that one. Yeah, no, that one's gone. Yeah, that one's off the roster.
Was there another person who were you thinking when I said finger looking good then?
No, I didn't hear that. I honest to God didn't hear you say that. I didn't hear that part.
Okay, so KFC's gone.
KFC's gone, yeah.
Gotcha. Sorry about that. So, send him on his way with a biscuit and some honey.
Well, I mean, he was the last person to text me. So I don't know if with the back and forth texting rules, maybe it was my
Oh, you left him on red?
Yeah.
After he showed you all his mouth skills on your hand? That's devastating, Jen.
Yeah. He had to let him go back into the pasture.
Let him go. Let him go.
So,
all right. Well, sorry, bud. R.I.P. What do you want to give us his name first and last?
No.
First?
His first name was Dan.
R.I.P. Oh, Dan. Okay.
Dan.
R.I.P. Dan.
I mean,
How old was
Dan's
Dan?
Dan was 40. No. 49.
That's too old. That's too old to be licking fingers, Dan. That's too old. Can't be doing that, Dan.
I think he's 49. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
49. Because he's saying he's going to go to Germany for his 50th. That's what he said.
He's going to go to a retirement home. So you're still going younger, I see. That's great.
Well, I mean, you're so stupid.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anyways. But yeah, so there's...
people are wondering, Kandar Anman said, how does one get on this roster? Do you have any tips for if somebody wants to get on your roster, Jen?
No.
I would highly recommend making Jen feel like you don't care about her very much. I think that's going to work. You're going to have to play hard to get with Jen.
You're not supposed to talk about that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm giving tips. All right, yeah, just be yourself. That's what I meant. Be yourself.
Yeah, don't challenge my ego or anything. So.
Yeah, I think Jen's going to wind up in a relationship via manipulation. Hopefully they're a good guy, but...
Yeah, I mean, this is why I put myself in timeout a long time ago.
I hear you.
My decision making wasn't fantastic, but whatever.
Well, now that you can't get pregnant, it's not as scary anymore.
You're so stupid.
All right, do your announcements.
Ironically, I actually got it. I went on to a live last night debating abortion. So I think that's kind of...
Is that ironic?
Kind of.
Okay.
So I'm very pro-choice. So.
Yeah. All right. Great.
All right. Well, we're just gonna get
Robert wants to know.
You can't be on my roster.
Robert, how old are you? Are you 31 or 70? Robert, if you're going by Robert, you're either really old or young, I think.
No. All right. Robert gives me 65 vibes.
Robert, you're too easy, but you got to play a lot. You got to play a lot more hard to get than that if you want to get on the roster. I think you're too available for Jen.
Yeah. No. Anyways, so we can get going with the show. We do this each day, Monday through Friday, from 9:30 to 1 Pacific time. This is our job. He is 60-ish. See, I was close. I bet he's 65. You won't say it because I'm probably right. Anyways.
What's your net worth? What's your net worth and health like? That actually could help. If you're in poor health with a high net worth, this could work out.
I mean, I don't know. I've dated broke guys, so it's not even necessarily that. But anyways, so we're gonna get going on this. We're gonna move past my dating history. So we're on TikTok. Now we're not on TikTok because we don't know what's happening with that. With the link or whatever to get us over there. So we're on Twitch and on YouTube. If you're not a paid subscriber or member, please choose to become one or decide to become one. We've got a members only event tomorrow, and you said is today the last day to get in the asks for or the recommendations for
No, I made an executive decision. I'm going with the company retreat is what I'm going with.
Company retreat.
I think that's what it's called. It was did you see I think it was called The Juror?
No.
It's like everybody's an actor except for the one guy, and they're like on a jury together. It's kind of like, I don't know if you call it a reality show, like a scripted one. Now they have one called Company Retreat, where it's kind of the same thing, and this guy gets sent on a company jury duty. It was called. It's also a Pauly Shore movie. Jury Duty. Okay, yeah. Well, Company Retreat's another one, and my mom was watching it this weekend. I didn't catch any of it except for like a few clips, and it looks really funny. So that's what we're watching.
All right, sounds like a plan. So all right. So if you're a paid member or subscriber on any of the platforms, you can join us for that members only event. You just have to be in the Discord, and we do that tomorrow. It's at 6 Pacific?
6 Pacific, yep.
All right. So I see some of our regular opposition is in here already.
Hi, guys.
There's someone who's always saying something like, I can see you're still struggling with viewers. We started 10 minutes ago. But glad you're here for the moment. Glad you're here.
You know what's funny? I don't actually know how many viewers we have. ever. It's never right. If I go, what are we at on YouTube right now? See if it's right.
What I see is the concurrent viewers I see is 332.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not right on my end. I never
That's
know.
what I see. No, I see 167 on Twitch.
Okay.
So. But if you guys disagree with Jay, with RTP, you guys can actually come up and have a conversation. How you do that is you send me a message on Discord. My Discord is the same as the Venmo. So Jen with 2 N's, Deb with 2 B's, the number 1. Send me a message and I can bring you up and you can have a conversation. You don't have to stay in the comments. You won't, but you can. If you check out the link tree in the bio, we're on most social media platforms. We've got merch. Jay's on Cameo. We upload these episodes to Spotify. So if we can knock out that gift goal sooner rather than later, that would be awesome. And yeah, someone ripped the 5th month out of my calendar.
Oh no.
I'm dismayed.
No, you got to go.
No, it was funny. It was funny. It was
no, it's funny.
It was funny. I laughed.
All right.
Darian sent it to me, so I have to give that credit to him. So.
All right. And Agni, I don't know if that's Angni said, thanks, Jen, for going on Matt's last night. I'm assuming that's where Jen was. Great thank you for 5 months of subscribing on Prime. And just a reminder for everybody on Twitch, you can subscribe for free using your Prime membership. Bezos will pay us instead of you. Ox Black said for the new Robert tier fountain, it's going to be big. It's going to rival the size of that dumb fucking arch that Donald Trump wants to build. So it's going to be really great, Robert. You're going to love it. I don't know who you are over on Twitch that said you got banned from YouTube. You might be the person who was threatening my life yesterday. If so, Jen, if that's the same person, just ban him on Twitch too. That was fucking weird. But we're going to kick things off with our favorite pollster. And I'm going to play the video. I know you just heard it, but I am remembering at the same time Harry Enton to give us a state of how Donald Trump's doing on inflation.
Yeah, okay. Americans say inflation is the number one issue facing them right now. And to quote the great Happy Gilmore, according to them, the price is wrong when it comes to the president of the United States.
The price is wrong, bitch. They should have said it.
Just take a look at these net approval ratings when it comes to inflation. The president of the United States is hitting all-time record lows in all of these polls, and all of them. NBC came out yesterday, 36 points underwater. CBS came out a few weeks ago, 38 points underwater. Ipsos, Reuters, 43 points underwater. CNN came out earlier this month, 45 points underwater. And taking the cake is UMass Amherst, 47 points underwater across all of these polls.
Yeah, let's give it up. Let's give it up. I think every single person still supporting Donald Trump is in this chat today.
Trump is in his worst position ever on the issue that the American people say over and over and over again is their key number one issue.
Was it always thus?
No, it wasn't this always thus, Mr. Berman. And this is what is so amazing to me. I mean, these shifts that we're just seeing, my goodness gracious. Voters.
This needs to be studied. This absolutely needs to be studied. And let's study it right now because it's really fucking simple. On inflation, Trump was +7. And he won the election. You know why? Because he's a whiny little bitch. And he just complains about shit, and he lied about what caused inflation. And so we had a 2024 election where most of the voting base on both sides, honestly, had no idea how inflation works or how President Biden, I guess not caused, but like what effect he had on inflation. We were able to just say 9% inflation, that's all Joe Biden's fault, and that's where we got to where we were. Nobody cared to look at Trump's record that led to inflation. Nobody cared about like the massive spending. Nobody cared about the COVID stimulus that Trump put out there. Nobody cared about the tax cuts that were stalling out our economy and already leading to inflation. We were looking at a recession, and luckily, Trump got COVID and didn't ever have to deal with the consequences of his dog shit policy. But now we're dealing with his dog shit policy, and he's got dumber people around him this time, and he's dumber. And that's why you have a net approval rating of -42 points. Study is over.
On Trump and inflation. In the 2024 election, remember, Trump got reelected to a second term, and Joe Biden got pushed to the curb in large part because Americans felt he couldn't handle inflation. Trump was more trusted than Kamala Harris on inflation by 7 points. Look at his net approval right now. You average all those polls on the first side of your screen, 42 points underwater. That is a nearly 50-point shift away from the president of the United States.
A nearly 50-point shift.
Sorry, it wasn't me. I missed that. Said Jen is the Roz to your Frasier. Thank you. I like that. Yeah, I love Frasier. I haven't watched Frasier in a long time.
That's bad. What's worse?
Yeah, what's worse? You think this is bad, a nearly 50-point shift. How about a 70-point shift? I'm laughing because you never see numbers like.
You don't need independence. That's not going to matter. Brianna said maybe we all survived National Drug Testing Day. No shot. I had a weird 420 yesterday. I forgot to eat and then I ate right before cooking dinner, and it didn't go well. Rich said, Jen, that was a great joke, so the money goes to her. Thank you, Rich.
Like this. Look at this. Independence on Trump and inflation. In the 2024 election versus Harris, Trump was favored by 10 points. Down he goes. Down he goes. He's down to 60 points underwater
really good.
On inflation. That is a 70-point shift in a little bit less than 2 years worth of time. John Berman and I are big baseball fans. And I will tell you, I'm going to go to Trump's home borough in Queens.
Trump polls like nothing you've ever seen before. True.
Honest, it's the only comparison I can think of. Donald Trump is in worse shape on inflation right now than the New York Metropolitans are in the NL East. That is how bad. And what, the Mets just lose their 11th straight game?
At a certain point, you stop counting because there's so many. There's two things I just want to point out quickly here. The two words that matter so much here are, independence and inflation. These are two areas the president did well on in the last election.
He did well. This is what is happening here. The strengths that Donald Trump won.
Too much winning, sir. We had too much winning, so we had to fuck up inflation.
Had with the electorate, the things that got him elected to a second term, you can wave adios amigos goodbye to them. And why that's so important is even though Trump isn't on the ballot.
What is a woman? A woman is that thing your dad ignores so that while I'm fucking him. That's what a woman is.
Come November, a lot of Republicans in Congress are on the ballot. And if these numbers hold, you can wave adios amigos goodbye. See you later. Certainly that House majority and maybe that Senate majority as well.
Harold Linton, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well done, Harry Enton. As always, bringing us the data on the fuck up, the giant fuck up that is Donald Trump. Imagine still being a human being on planet Earth, waking up today going, I'm glad Donald Trump is our president. Imagine being that fucking dumb. And it's not even like political at this point. It's just like, what's your, like, how much dumb can you take? You take all the dumb? You guys are taking all the dumb. You love the dumb. You're like, give me more dumb, daddy. This is great. It might be that he makes you feel smart. Maybe that's what it is. You want to, MAGA, welcome, as always. If you want to let me know what's going well, what Trump is doing well, let me know. Or you can just keep dick riding for him. That's also fine. Glad Donald Trump is our president. Sure you are. Anything to block evil Democrats. Yeah, that's about right. That's the level of analysis that we expect from a Trump supporter. I don't know anything, but I know that I don't like the Democrats. So anything Donald Trump does is fine by me. Like, I don't know if I'm alone on the Pete Buttigieg train. I've always liked Pete Buttigieg. I think that he's really good at fingering the pulse of the nation. And here he is fingering the pulse of this entire gymnasium. And he's reading the tea leaves correctly. You can argue whether or not this is legitimately how he feels. You can argue whether this is a shift or not. But the reality is in this country that the farther left you are, the more influence you're having in midterms. And listen to Pete Buttigieg sounding like AOC here at a town hall yesterday.
I think that's the question. Because we'll start by just picturing that day. Right? Picture the day when the current president, for the first time that the sun comes up over Tulsa, and the current president has left the political scene, right? Definitely.
I hate that so much. Not what he said, but the crowd. It's not. Trump leaving doesn't fix anything. Doesn't fix anything until you fix it. I'm an offensive person. Oh, I'm sorry. It makes my argument null. Yeah, well, suck my ass. Go somewhere else. What do you want me to do about that? I'm sorry that I offended you. I hope things get better.
Definitely something to look forward to. But then what? Then what?
That's the question.
And my word of warning to my own political party is that we would make a terrible mistake if we thought that our job was to just take power somehow and then put everything back the way it was. That's not what we're here to do.
Yeah, nobody's trying to get back to 2023, okay? Can we do something else?
We're not out to go around and just find all the little bits and pieces of everything that they smashed and tape it together and say, here you go, I give you the world as it looked in 2023. That's not going to work. It's not what we need. So much has changed. And
how do you exist? You have no idea what's really going on. The world is reorganizing alliances and free from the British rule. The British are coming! Somebody tell Paul Revere! Run, Paul! Get on your horse! Take the lamps! One if by land, two if by sea, Paul! The British are coming! Bro, what year do you think this is? What world do you live in right now? England was ruling the world before Trump came around? Throw the tea into the harbor. No taxation without representation. Jesus Christ, man. You got to check out this George Washington guy. He's going to be pretty influential. You're going to like him.
The truth is, they are destroying things right and left. They're destroying a lot of good, important things. They're destroying some useless things, too, because they're destroying everything. So now we get a chance to put things together on different terms. I'm thinking of some examples. The Department of Education. Wiping out the Department of Education is...
If this is a Republican, sorry, I'm going to go back a little bit, but if this was the Republicans, you'd say Department of Education and literally everybody would boo. And then Republicans would be like, yeah, fuck the Department of Education. You guys are the fuck the Department of Education party. Fuck education. Fuck colleges. Fuck teachers. Fuck all of them. Fuck them kids, too.
Wiping out the Department of Education is criminally wrong. Okay? But that doesn't mean the Department...
RTP's boyfriend is proud. He is proud. You know why he's proud? Because he ran an Eiffel Tower on your dad last night. Look it up. Guess what? Totally cool with switching, too. He'll just flip it. We went to the ATM about 20 times last night. So, yeah, we are proud of that. Thank you.
Education, the way it used to look, is exactly perfect. And so we can build it on new and different terms.
All right. I love that by Pete Buttigieg. And that's what every Democrat running needs to recognize, is if you run just to... sorry, I had a different quote stuck in my head a second ago. I'm actually going to pull it up. But if you're a Democrat and you're running and you think just like winning the election because Donald Trump is bad is going to get you any grace from the people who are in charge now or who are in power now, which is going to be the left, try again. I'm sorry, this is in the... I wasn't even going to show this. Who sent this? I got to get into the... Actually, I think it was on their TikTok. I don't know how this didn't come across my feed.
There are many great sounds.
There you go. There's facts there. It was not a great day for Cory Booker yesterday. This is from the Majority Report. If I don't care, I don't tell anybody what to watch. Many of you know that I don't watch a lot of other shows. This is one of the few shows that I watch. How do I full screen this shit? I don't know. This is the Majority Report. And apparently I don't follow them, but we'll give them a follow. Reacting to Cory Booker yesterday, and I don't have anything to add to this.
Michigan fist.
That's going to be a sound drop.
I want the Michigan fist.
That's going to be a sound drop.
I want the Michigan fist.
That was me at 8:30 this morning, just playing that over and over again, belly laughing.
Oh my god! Oh, fuck. I don't think I can read the IMs anymore. I got too many.
I want that Michigan fist.
I can't. CPIM. Okay. Ramona Frankenstein. I'm looking to get Michigan fisted, if you know what I'm saying.
If you know what I'm saying.
Looking to get. Oh, no. I can't read this. Looking to get a Detroit digit in the bussy. That's for Ramona Frankenstein. I want to make that absolutely clear.
So good. Yeah, that should be the end of Cory Booker. He stretches to new levels. Oh, that was amazing. Oh, sorry. That comment about Lindsey Graham. What did they say about Lindsey Graham? Okay, sorry. I can't transition to this next one. I'm going to skip the next one. There's no way I could transition to that. There's no. Let me go here. Remember how Pam Bondi was supposed to testify and she just is ignoring a congressional subpoena? So the Republicans put together this hearing. I don't know who these people are. I don't know. That's a big fucking cross. This guy's got a cowboy hat on, and I'm going to guess that's like John Eastman or some shit like that. And they're, I don't know why they're there, but Republicans put together a sham hearing instead, not even like a real hearing where Democrats could like call witnesses or prepare. And so only one Democrat showed up, and it was Robert Garcia, and he showed up to say this. You hate Sam Cedar? How do you hate Sam Cedar? That's crazy. Oh, are you a conservative? Sam Cedar's unbelievable. I don't know if we can be friends, Dylan, if you don't like Sam Cedar. It's like my favorite person in media. Anyways, here's Robert Garcia.
Yield our ranking member Garcia for his opening remarks.
Thank you. And I also want to thank the presenters and the witnesses that are here for being here today. Now, unfortunately, I do have to announce that Democratic members will not be participating.
You hate him and his kids? Oh, got it. You're a bitch. I get it now.
I don't like that Sam Cedar guy. He makes me feel dumb.
You know what? Sam Cedar's the only person I legitimately can think of on the left that nobody will debate on the right. Nobody will. They've all blacklisted him. And it's so funny to hear what they say. Like Tim Pool's kind of like the cheerleader here, and Dave Rubin. And they're all like, I don't like Sam Cedar because he picks on us. Yeah. Yeah, it's what he does. It's also why none of you debate him. He made Charlie Kirk look so bad that Charlie wouldn't debate him anymore. You can go watch that debate with he and Charlie Kirk, where at some point he asks Charlie Kirk if he'll join him in supporting a 21st century Glass-Steagall, and Charlie Kirk clearly doesn't know what Glass-Steagall is, and Charlie's like, yeah, maybe, I don't know. Sam, why don't you tell I know, but why don't you tell the audience what the Glass-Steagall Act is? Like, had no clue, but didn't want to admit it. Sam Cedar is fucking brilliant, and he would dog walk any single person on the right, and that's why none of them will debate him. So I'm just left to assume that if you hate Sam Cedar, you either hate Bob's Burgers or you're a dipshit and he makes you feel dumb. But sorry, back to Robert Garcia.
Thank the presenters and the witnesses that are here for being here today. Now, unfortunately, I do have to announce that Democratic members will not be participating in today's hearing. This roundtable, which is really set up to have witnesses where we have no input on motions, or we have no...
Also, table not round. It's not a round table. It's just three people sitting there. A round table is like a discussion. It's not what this is.
Input and no formal rules, and no ability to call witnesses, and also importantly, no ability to have motions to subpoena, I think is important to call out. Now, this is not a real hearing. It's one that's set up to appear like one. This is a roundtable designed without rules, rights, or accountability. And critically, no ability for members to make motions.
And once again, just a reminder that this hearing is happening because they refused to hold Pam Bondi to her subpoena. The Trump administration has been covering up the Epstein files so obviously and so corruptly that they fired Pam Bondi to make sure that she didn't have to testify in front of Congress. And because Donald Trump is such a goddamn psychopath, it's like number 80 on the list of things to cover. Because we're also doing this dumbass war in Iran. We're also just fucking up our economy right and left. We're handing over our entire government to oligarchs. There's not enough time in the day to cover just how stupid Donald Trump is and just how nonsensical these policies are. And then we all get frustrated. In the Discord today, people were like, I don't know what we're going to do about these Republicans that are abandoning Trump now. And it is hard because you should have recognized this years ago. I was talking to somebody I really care about, and they admitted something to me for the first time, that they had voted for Trump the first time around, and that they deeply, deeply regret it. And that one was okay, because within like weeks, they're like, oh, fuck, this is bad. But if you're still on the Trump train at this point, we're just left to assume that you just really, really like him. Like it's a personality thing, because he's not doing a good job, and he's never done a good job. And they're legitimately covering up the Epstein files, and you know it, I know it, everybody knows it. And instead, the Republicans are just pretending it didn't happen, and they roll out a roundtable, and Democrats are like, we're not playing your dumb fucking games anymore. Sam Cedar pulling up on Steven Crowder, and Crowder dipped was so cold. That's true. That's a funny clip. Steven Crowder wouldn't debate Sam Cedar, so he went to debate Ethan Klein before Ethan Klein lost his fucking mind. And then Steven Crowder just ran away. He's like, I don't want to do this.
What's happening today, in our opinion, is not real oversight. Now, oversight Republicans have not held a public, full committee roundtable. As far as the last 3 years that I've been on this committee, there hasn't been a roundtable that's been set up. This is the first one. And we should be clear about why that's happening. Last week, Attorney General Pam Bondi skipped a legally required deposition to be before our committee. No communication, no compliance, and no accountability. Instead of enforcing the subpoena, the majority is canceling hearings altogether. It's not just happening in the full committee, but it's also
a quick round of applause for the Republican Party for effectively covering up the Epstein files and proving once and for all that they do not give a fuck if you are a pedophile. As long as you vote for Donald Trump, you are fine. Pedophiles are okay. There's literally not a line that you can cross that they have a problem with, as long as you still support Donald Trump. So well done, Republicans. Great job. Fuck all those victims, right? A big story that we all know is happening. Like, we want to find out if Israel's involved? Too fucking bad. Want to find out what rich Democrat donors were involved? Too fucking bad. You want to know what Reid Hoffman was doing on that island? Exclusively Democrat funder? You want to know about Reid Hoffman? Too fucking bad. You want to know about Bill Gates? Too fucking bad. You want to know about Bill Clinton? Too fucking bad. You want to know about any of these people? Too fucking bad. The Republicans need to cover it up. Why? Because Daddy Trump's in there. So sorry. But here's a war that we can't afford that makes no fucking sense to distract you. Okay, we'll take the war now. Thank you.
Happening in subcommittees. When we have real hearings, members from both parties have successfully forced votes and issued subpoenas. Now, since July 2025, the committee has made 7 successful subpoena motions, including 18 subpoenas, all with the support of bipartisan members of both the majority and the minority. And we know that this has not just, of course, been a Democratic effort, but Republicans have joined as well.
They want to know, Ack. That's the thing. Republicans do want to know the answer to these questions, but not more than they want to keep supporting Donald Trump. That's where we're at. I think there's a lot of people that live their life this way, where they want to believe in this fairy tale that they have in front of them, and so they ignore. I mean, you all know, you all have friends that are in like relationships with awful people, right? We all have somebody that we know that's like, you can see that. You can see how bad this relationship is, right? They're like, I don't even see it. And then you try and talk to them about it. They're like, I don't want to talk about that. That's all of MAGA right now, just in an abusive relationship with a fucking psychopath. And they're like, I don't want to address it. I'm just going to keep believing.
Senators Burchett, Perry, Luna, and Mace have all made successful motions, which we have agreed are important as Democrats. And when members are given their full rights, this committee has been able to act. But someone wants to shut down hearings in oversight. Democrats will not participate in a process designed to strip members of their rights. We do encourage the majority to hold real conversations, to hold real hearings, and to do those immediately. But I do want to thank those members and witnesses that are here today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And we're out with your sham hearing. Meanwhile, I was able to work back into this. Sorry, I forgot to Let's do that. Sorry, I forgot to give somebody credit for this in the Discord. Whoever put this in the Discord this morning, thank you. But come on, pull up. Why is it not clickable? There we go. This is what this is what they're busy doing now, the Republicans. And shout out Total Hypocrisy here. We'll give them a follow if we can. Where's that like full screen thing? Is it there? There it is. This is Total Hypocrisy over on TikTok, covering a new bill that has been presented by Chip Roy.
April 21st, 2026, and yesterday on the House floor, a new bill was introduced. Let me tell you all about it. It is House Resolution 8387 to amend the Immigration and Nationality Act to limit alien eligibility for admission and naturalization and enable deportation and denaturalization for any membership, affiliation or advocacy of socialist, communist, Chinese communist, Marxist, or Islamic fundamentalist doctrines, and for other purposes, of course.
Okay. We're outlawing thought. Membership, affiliation. I could see membership if we're talking about Chinese Communist Party. But advocating socialism or communism, that should allow them to revoke your citizenship? Marxism? I don't even know what Islamic fundamentalist doctrines are. Now your thoughts can get you deported? Freedom of religion, freedom of speech? No? Any of you guys? Notice how quiet the Trumpers have gotten today. This isn't a good start for you guys today. I did see somebody like,
but Kamala didn't have a primary.
Cool. You guys are trying to outlaw thought.
Introduced by the one and only Representative Chip Roy of Texas's 21st District. Always a problem. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty and the details, let me just remind you of the polling first.
Did they really nickname it the Mamdani Act? A bunch of dumb fuck racists. Your whole goddamn party's racist, bigots, Islamophobes. Why are you so fucking afraid of everything? Why are you afraid of all things? Is there anything you're not afraid of? I like whites. I like whites that look like me and talk like me and have a cross. Those are the only ones I trust, is the good whites with the cross. Stop being so fucking afraid of everything.
First they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. We've all heard it before, right? Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. Okay, this is sweeping legislation. Please remember, at this point, this is just a bill on Capitol Hill. It is not a law. It has to go through processes. But what does all of this mumbo jumbo mean? I have some research and some notes I'm going to read because I want to make sure I get everything completely accurate. Here we go. This is what the legislation would do if passed into law. Number one, it would make any non-citizen affiliated with or advocating for socialist, communist, Chinese communist, Marxist, or Islamic fundamentalist parties or doctrines, ideologies, inadmissible in the United States, deportable if already resident, and ineligible for now.
Mamdani is a socialist, not American.
I got bad news for you, brother. Or sister. We've had socialists here as long as socialism has been around. We've had American socialists forever. You can be a socialist and be an American. Because American, that is your country, right? It's not a belief system. America's not a belief system. You can believe whatever you want.
Naturalization. So just to be clear, when we talk about socialism, we're talking about things like universal health care, having the government pay for free childcare. If you advocate for any of that stuff or believe in any of that stuff, you can be labeled a socialist, and then this applies to you. It's sweeping. It's not just like, oh, you're from China and you became a naturalized citizen and now you have to go home. No, it's not that specific.
Didn't the last administration revoke licenses from doctors for saying the vax isn't trustworthy? No, that's not how that works. The executive branch can't pull licenses from doctors. Also, they were wrong. So I'm sure there were some doctors fired from their jobs, not by the last administration. You don't know how anything works, which is pretty par for the course. And this is how you become a Republican. you just blame everything on the Democrats, just everything, and on the president, because you don't know how anything works. Do you really think that that Joe Biden was polling people's licenses? Secondly, the vaccine worked, very effective. The benefits far outweigh the negative side effects. If you're still an anti-vaxxer at this point, I think that you maybe should do some research in different places because you're not getting the data that you should be getting.
It's broad and it is reaching and it will impact so many of us, basically anyone who doesn't follow the MAGA ideology. The legislation also extends what is currently a 10-year bar on naturalization for members of totalitarian parties to 20 years and narrows the existing exception for involuntary membership, meaning like you were just a kid and you were born into it and it's not your choice, from a qualifying threshold age of 16 to now 14.
Nice.
Under this bill's definitions, the quote, socialism definition is including any movement that advocates the doctrines of Karl Marx or Friedrich Engels. And I can do a deep dive on Marx and Engels.
We can't talk about Marx now? Where are we, Republicans? J6, how many dead children from the evil needle? You give me a number. Pull me any number about children who died from the vaccine outside of VAERS. Yeah, you're exactly who I'm talking about. Like, you're getting bad information, bud. Really, really bad information. How many died from COVID? Were there more people that died from COVID or from the vaccine? It's not even close. But now we're banning Karl Marx. You just can't talk about Karl Marx anymore. You can't advocate for that. Freedom.
Engels if you would really like to, but just to get kind of a picture of who they were. Engels was someone who truly believed that history wasn't defined by religion and things like that. Instead, it was defined by economics and class systems and economic struggle. So like reality.
For the record,
oh, and one more note.
Marxism is just a critique on capitalism. It's looking at the flaws of capitalism. So what they're actually saying here, and they call it Marxism, what they're actually saying is that in America, you can't criticize capitalism. You just have to buy in like it's some sort of fucking religion. Oh, it is a religion. It is a cult. You know how we know that? There's no evidence that it works. There's all the evidence in the world says that we're in late stage capitalism. And if you set the goal of getting all the money, then eventually if you accomplish the goal of getting all the money, then capitalism kills itself. So that's what Marxism is. Anybody who's saying Marxism is not a critique of capitalism, just you legitimately haven't read Marx at all. Leave America if you hate it. See? Same thing. America is capitalism. We confuse all of these words together, and we've decided that anybody who disagrees with us should just leave. This is the problem. They don't want you to know this. The problem that you're going to have with Marxism, if you understand all the words, is that it's going to make a hell of a lot of sense, especially now. I don't know that anybody's been vindicated as much as Karl Marx.
Define socialism.
Workers owning the means of production. That's basically what it means. You get to own your own production.
We don't like that. We like being bootlickers. Capitalism's way better. Somebody else gets to own your labor. It's cool.
Legislation would additionally bar judicial review of decisions related to inadmissibility, deportation, or denaturalization, potentially limiting legal challenges to such actions. In response to the introduction of this bill, Representative Delia Ramirez, the Democrat from Illinois, said, quote, Roy's legislation would expand their list of targets little by little, hoping you do not notice until there is no one left to stand against their agenda.
Cool.
And that's basically the analysis. I don't need to expand. The good news is this isn't really expected to pass in the House. It would have to pass the House and then the Senate and then make its way to Donald Trump's desk to be signed into law. So there's, like I said, a lot of processes that have to happen in order for this to become a law. But it is still worth noting because these are the types of things they are trying to get done.
Let's talk about that, Timothy. Anyways, this is horrific, but let's talk about that. Control of the means of production and redistribution of wealth, aka socialism. Are you telling me we don't redistribute wealth in capitalism? Are you saying that there's no control of the means of production in capitalism? Who controls the means of production in capitalism? The people with the capital, right? And do they redistribute wealth? Yes, they certainly do. The two things that you just mentioned that you're defining socialism as exist in any type of structure that involves currency and means of production. It's about who controls the means of production. So who controls the means of production in socialism? The people. More directly, you get to control it. This is why you're all wrong. Socialism is not the government owns the means of the production. You own the means of production. The government is the vehicle which you use to protect your rights to your own production, which is what unions are. And this is the real like fuckery of capitalism, is that they tell you a lie. Question: can I be a capitalist in a communist or socialist state? Not a communist state, because there would be no government, there would be no currency, you couldn't have capital. In a socialist state, sure. Why not? Why couldn't you? Unless they outlawed capital. They outlawed capital investment. But there aren't any countries that are socialist. I feel like for my poor audience that has to hear this all the time, it's nonstop. We have to correct what you guys think socialism is. And the reason that all of your knowledge on socialism is incorrect is because it's propaganda meant to get you to buy into capitalism and be bootlickers. No offense, but I don't think you understand what socialism is at all. I don't think you have a clue how it actually works. It actually leads to. You haven't studied enough history behind socialism. What does it lead to then, Nap? What part did I get wrong there? Let's talk about it. Is socialism not that you own the means of production? I know socialism leads to communism. No, it doesn't. The most evil. We said this the other day. I don't think it was a very popular thing that I said, but if you look at Mao and if you look at any Stalin, any so-called communist dictator, what they really were is basically conservative fascists hiding behind an ideology of communism, where they use communism as the vehicle to usurp power and control, and then they just act like fascists. They effectively act the same way. You wouldn't call it fascism because it's not a right-leaning ideology, but the result is the same. Yeah, thank you. China, capitalism mixed with socialism. There's literally no communist countries. There's no socialist countries. They don't exist. Which socialist or communist countries actually has the people own the means of production? Again, John, there are no socialist countries. There are zero fucking socialist countries. Denmark has capitalism as well. It's a mixed economy. There are no socialist countries. It's crazy. Like, how do you guys, like, this is what I'm saying about indoctrination in this country. You've been led to believe that socialism is bad, and none of you know why. You know what leads to communism? Not owning any land or having any assets. Yeah. You know what leads to communism? Late stage capitalism, crony capitalism. Communism's starting to look, you know what? Communism and socialism have never been more popular in this country. You know why? Because our system's so fucked that people are not willing to continue in this system. The acceleration of capitalism in the way that it's accelerating now is leading people to be open to socialism. Was Germany a communist country? No, you cannot be a country and communist. It does not exist. You don't have a government. Germany was also a mixed economy. Hitler basically was able to get two parties to merge. You had a very conservative group, and then you had the social, what was it? The Democratic, like the Workers' Party or whatever they were, and they became the Nazi Party. But he ruled it again mixed. Like he seized the means of production from certain industries, and he allowed capitalism in other industries, and he was just a fascist. Like all of his political ideology was fascist. Yeah, thank you. Communist Trump taking 10% of U.S. Steel and Intel and NVIDIA. No, that's more like socialism. If he was sharing that with us, if we were seeing a benefit from that. Yeah, correct. The U.S. is not actually capitalist. Where did you drive today? On a road that was funded by the public? Did you go to public schools? Ever been to a public library? How about our military? Is that private? No, that's funded by the people. We're a mixed economy too. It's a silly argument that we have all the time that it's like capitalism versus socialism. The answer to, like, when capitalism goes too far, we showed the clip yesterday. Brennan Perez was hilarious. But when capitalism goes too far, you can even hear the billionaires now, like, we're going to have to redistribute this wealth. How are you going to redistribute that wealth? By giving people access to the means of production. Because a lot of this wealth that has been accumulated from, like, Elon Musk, let's just use him as an example. If you wanted to redistribute Elon Musk's wealth, you can't do it through, like, cash deposits, right? You can't tax Elon all that money because a lot of it's unrealized gains. A lot of it is his net worth comes from his stock options, right? And the way that he pays himself, he's not taking a lot of cash. Like, he's not cash heavy. So what do? You're going to have to redistribute the shares. You're going to have to take that wealth and redistribute that amongst the workers. And they realize this. All these billionaires are realizing this right now. They're gonna have to share some of the wealth that's been created, and that it should be that way. There's no reason why Elon Musk should have that type of net worth while the people working for his company are barely getting by. Wouldn't it be nice if they had that stock as collateral? Wouldn't that be nice if they had that so that they could use it to maybe use it for collateral to buy a house or to invest in a property, or maybe they just want to sell it and retire? Wouldn't that be nice? Is your point that a good mix of socialism and capitalism is a good thing? If so, yeah, I'm not a socialist. This is people accuse me of being a socialist or a communist all the time because I rail on capitalism. But I've said before, they're all flawed. If you take all of them to their very end, at some point, somebody can have too much control and you can go too far. I like mixed economies. I think that if you had you could get to a scenario here where we weren't creating enough value, where we were so heavily dependent on social programs that you could potentially stifle innovation, and you might need to invest. That's why I like what China does, and this is going to piss you guys off too, because then you'll say I'm a communist. But China does a really smart thing. China takes their money that they get from taxes, and they use that money to invest in companies. And so the companies get access to capital, and they get that access to capital at good rates, and it locks in the people of China with that company. And so you have like this shared interest. And then when they get the returns from their investment into these companies, they can reinvest it other places. One thing that's really interesting about, if you look at China right now, they're one of the few countries that's not struggling to sell their debt. They don't have the same problems we have over here selling our debt. But China is very much a mixed economy. They're honestly not that different than us. They have a more authoritarian government, although Trump's doing his best to try and catch up with them. And I think a lot of times you guys mix up authoritarianism for socialism or communism. You can have basically no control over the social influences on people's lives and still have a country that operates on like socialist principles. Those things don't all go together. That's just authoritarianism, which can happen on the right and the left. But if I was gonna say, like, would I trade what China's doing for what we're doing minus like their authoritarian government? Absolutely. I would absolutely change what they're doing. Or I mean what we're doing to do what they're doing. We got to get past that. Like that we get the where's our fence sitters today? Where's the both sides people today? Today we're on the same team today. We got to get past that shit of like socialism bad, capitalism good. No, they can both be bad. They can both be manipulated. Find holes in federated systems with sovereign data, and I don't know what that means. All right, moving on. I want to get here because I want to talk about Kevin Warsh. Kevin Warsh is Trump's nominee to run the Federal Reserve. Some fun facts about Kevin Warsh. This is somebody who didn't spend very much time in the private markets. He worked for, I want to say, I don't think it was Goldman. I think it was, I can't remember who he worked for. I don't think it was Goldman, but he was then put on the Fed board by George W. Bush, and he was really, really influential in bailing out all of the banks after the 2008 financial crisis. He was kind of one of a handful of architects that forced the Bear Stearns sale, which Bear Stearns should have just went under. But instead they forced the sale, and I think that was to J.P. Morgan, if I remember correctly. Is that, or Merrill Lynch? Was it Merrill Lynch that bought Bear Stearns? It was one of those two, I think. This is somebody who's been around every catastrophic financial decision of my lifetime, and so naturally he is Trump's choice to run the Federal Reserve. Here he is being questioned by Elizabeth Warren about his connections to Jeffrey Epstein.
has been plagued by deeply disturbing ethics scandals in recent years involving at least 6 Fed officials. So it's critical.
Sorry, John, I'll do this too. John, you've got to listen. I said I would trade the way China operates its economy for the way we operate our economy, and I would throw out all the authoritarianism. You've got to have some nuance, bud. I'm trying to help here. Listen to the words that I say. Do I think that we should be like China? Do I think that we should take a population like the Chinese do is it Uyghurs? Is that how you say it? Uyghur, the Muslims, and treat them like second-class citizens? No. I think there's some people in this country who treat that way too. No, I don't want that. I'm just saying economically, I prefer their structure to ours. I think it's a better structure. So you can do, but like, there's the nuance. I don't want to be run like China. I don't like the censorship in China, but you can run the economy the way that they run the economy without all of that censorship. I think sometimes when we talk about like what other countries do well, we get stuck in this like, oh, well, they're also bad. Yeah. Every country's bad. Every country does bad things. You can't dismiss the good things that other countries do by just like constantly talking about the bad things they do. Just learn from them. It's another part of this entire like right-wing ecosystem where you guys have been taught to like fear globalism and fear what other countries are doing. Don't fear that. Learn from them. Their structure is communism. All communism is an economic. Their structure is not communism. Jesus fucking Christ. Do they have a currency? Yes. Not communism. Do they have a state? Yes. Not communism. Do they have a class system? Yes. Not communism. You got to figure out what communism means first. You're confusing socialism and communism, but they're not even like they do have better worker protections than we do as far as like owning your labor, and they do reinvest taxpayer money into their industries, and they get returns on that investment. Whatever you want to call that, it's a smarter model than what we have.
That the next chair have no financial conflicts, none. You have more than $100 million in investments that you have refused to disclose to ethics officials and to the public. So let me ask.
Sorry, real quick. I didn't even get these. Chat's dad is open to the public. Is he socialist? I don't know. Vote yes in Virginia today. IMFRCD. Appreciate that. Illusion said other purposes, nothing like legal sycophancy. Sorry, I was late on that one. I actually read that in my head and I forgot to read it out loud. Just a reminder, guys, we are crowdfunded, so anything you want me to read, you can send that PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, or Super Chats. We keep the highest percentage off of the pay apps, but you're welcome to do Super Chats whenever you want.
Do the Juggernaut Fund or the THSDFS LLC invest in any company?
Mute JSEX for 5 minutes. JSEX, sit in the corner, shut the fuck up. Stop saying I'm a Marxist or I want to try socialism. If you can't still be here every day and consistently lie about what I'm saying. So JSEX is getting 5 minutes, and then when you come back, you got to start telling the truth, okay, bud? You gotta act in good faith here and stop being a whiny little bitch all the time.
He's affiliated with President Trump or his family, companies that have facilitated money laundering, Chinese-controlled companies, or financing vehicles established by Jeffrey Epstein.
Senator Warren, thank you. So let me first share a point of agreement with you. The Fed has two tools. One is its monetary policy, and the second is its credibility. And the scandals that you talked about, the ethics problems you talked about, went to the core of the credibility that has hurt the Fed.
Could you answer my question, please? I asked. You have $100 million in undisclosed assets. And what I'm asking is, are any of those with this outfit that invests in companies affiliated with President Trump or his family, companies that have facilitated money laundering, Chinese-controlled companies, or financing vehicles set up by Jeffrey Epstein? It's a yes or no question.
Senator, I've worked tirelessly with the ethics officials at the Office of Government Ethics.
And you have not
come to an ethics agreement with them
and
have agreed, Senator, to sell all of my financial assets, including the Duquesne assets.
Are you refusing to tell us?
Why? Every fucking time these people won't answer questions. Oh yeah, sorry, we forgot to cue the Pocahontas. It's the one thing that any of these MAGA dipshits know about Elizabeth Warren. So her entire career was based on a lie, for sure. Yeah, for sure. She got everywhere she got because she said she was part Native American. How fucking mediocre do you have to be if you think that that's all it would? I would have been successful if I said I was part Native. I think it was Native American at the time. It's indigenous, but I think it said Native American on her application. Is that what you guys think? That's how she got into prestigious schools, and that's how she got her job at Harvard, and that's how she won an election because she said that she was indigenous. Okay, yeah, that's for sure what got her entire career.
If you have investments, for example, in vehicle setup to advance Jeffrey Epstein, is that what you're telling us? You just won't tell us?
Senator, what I'm telling you is that those assets that you represent as Juggernaut will be sold if I'm confirmed before I take office and sign the oath of office.
Let me follow up on that.
I mean, this is a weird thing that is happening in this hearing. So Kevin Warsh has a bunch of investments. He has promised to divest from those investments, and he claims that the Office of Ethics has cleared him, and he has an agreement with the Office of Ethics to sell all of his shares if he's confirmed. But we can't see that, and they won't show it to us. She admitted that, and that's why she got into Harvard? Wrong. Try again.
Will you at least disclose how you plan to disclose and divest these secret assets? I'm sure you understand that the public might question your motives if, for example, billionaire Stanley Druckenmiller, who you honored in...
For the record, Elizabeth Warren didn't go to Harvard. She taught at Harvard. She went to George Washington University, and she got a debate scholarship. She was on scholarship because she's a great debater. Then she got a BS in speech pathology at the University of Houston, and then she got her JD from Rutgers Law. You guys, you can't even lie about her correctly. It's a little pathetic. So, but she got all of that simply because she said she was part indigenous, for sure.
Your opening statement. And who makes a living guessing what the Fed will do next, cuts you a massive check for $100 million as you take the oath of office to become the new Federal Reserve Chair.
Senator, as you know, it sounds like your fight might not be with me, but the Office of Government Ethics. I have come to full agreement with them and have agreed to divest all of those assets.
I'm asking
especially
you a very
those that you
straightforward
referenced
question,
before
Mr.
I take
Warsh,
the oath of office.
and that is...
And for anybody who knows, there's no evidence at all that she got those scholarships because of her Native American heritage. There's no record of that whatsoever. She has said that she used to say that. Her scholarship was a debate scholarship, but her hiring reports, you can look back. The Boston Globe did a deep dive in this, and they said that they went through the hiring committees, and that both hiring committees at Harvard, and I think she taught at Penn as well, both of them listed her as white. There's literally no evidence that she benefited at all from claiming she was indigenous. That's just a thing that you guys do to discredit a brilliant woman, and it makes you look really fucking stupid. It makes you all look like you think that the reason you're not as smart as her or as accomplished as her is because you didn't lie about your heritage. It's just you being like kind of pathetic and super mediocre, and then blaming that on somebody's lie. And this is just cope. She's fucking brilliant. She's fucking brilliant. All the people that you hate the most on the left are the smartest ones, and you have no fucking clue because they're women. You do the same thing with AOC. Oh, she was a bartender. Oh, word? She was? Yeah, what else did she do? Did she win a science competition? Did she get a science scholarship? Did she have a star named after her? Did she graduate top of her class? Oh, yeah, but she was a bartender. Oh, okay. Give me the quote. Tell me the quote that said she got into college for being indigenous. Find me the quote. Give me a source on that. For every Republican in here, give me a quote that I can Google here. You just believe what Trump says. It's getting pathetic. Is that a camera or is this a man's hair? It's a camera. Question though. So yeah, anyways, Kevin Warsh seems like he's going to be fucking great. I hate that every time we play Elizabeth Warren, I have to spend the whole time talking to dipshit MAGA about why they should just listen. All right. Anybody who talks about, now we've got Ruben Gallego here, and anybody for the next 5 minutes who says the name Elizabeth Warren, because we're moving on, mods, feel free to mute them for 5 minutes at a time, and we're going to address the substance. Ruben Gallego caught either Kevin Warsh in a lie or Donald Trump in a lie. Not sure which one.
Today, You said to Senator Kennedy that President Trump never demanded you to cut interest rates in your job interview. Is that your...
Oh, sorry. Connor O'Meara said UWU. What is UWU again? I'm too old to know what that is. It means something? No, I don't stream just to make fun of Republicans. They just say stuff, and I've got ADHD, and then I make fun of them. But they could just shut the fuck up and learn something instead. I stream to cover the news, but sometimes I get derailed into making fun of Republicans.
Sworn testimony?
That is, Senator.
Okay. Well, someone here is lying then, because it's either you or President Trump. Because in an interview with the Wall Street Journal of December 12th, President Trump confirmed that he pressed you on your commitment to support interest rates cuts. And I quote, during a 45-minute meeting with Warsh on Wednesday at the White House, the president pressed Warsh on whether he could trust him to support interest rate cuts if he were chosen to lead the central bank. According to people familiar with the meeting, Trump in the general interview confirmed that, repeating, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to enter for the record the Wall Street Journal article, December 12th. Trump says he's leaning towards Warsh or has it to lead the Fed. So, this brings up an issue of credibility at this point. Who's lying here? Is it you or the president? Because the president confirmed that he did ask you to cut interest rates.
Senator
Timothy Solomon, come up here and explain it to me then. So you can add Jen. If you look at the Venmo username, that's the same message as Jen's on Discord. You can come up here and you can educate the people for me then. Every single day, we ask all of you to come up here and talk and explain what I'm getting wrong. And instead, it's just ad hominem attacks. Like, be an adult then. Get out of the chat. Come up here. We'll talk about it. You can tell me where we're having a problem with my ability to engage logical arguments regardless of political side. Come up here. Let's have a logical discussion then. I would love for one of you guys to get a spine at some point.
Brings up an issue of credibility at this point. Who's lying here? Is it you or the president? Because the president confirmed that he did ask you to cut interest rates.
Senator, there's, of course, a third alternative. You cite a couple of reporters for a leading financial newspaper. I recall reading that story at the time.
Did you issue a correction?
I think those reporters either need better sources or better journalist standards.
Did you ask for a correction?
There are things in the newspaper, Senator, I see all the time that don't strike my ear as correct.
So is, in your opinion, that the president then is lying when he said he did not ask you?
I can only repeat to you, Senator, what I said to several of your colleagues.
So you did not. You right now, under sworn testimony, are saying just to right now that the president...
No, funny handle. I don't think Republicans are the only ones who give benefits to rich people. Democrats do that too. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. It's an easy one.
Of the United States, in that job interview, did not ask you to cut interest rates.
The president never asked me to commit to interest rate cuts at any particular...
Oh, wait, that's a different answer though, right? Let's hear that question again, because that's a different answer.
In that job interview, did not ask you to cut interest rates.
All right, JSX. Mods, 5 more minutes for JSX. He showed up as a bitch again. Try again. 5 more minutes for you, JSX. Come back, less bitchy.
President never asked me to commit to interest rate cuts at any particular meeting over the period of my tenure at the Fed. He didn't ask for it. He didn't demand it. He didn't require it, and nor would I have ever done so.
But he's publicly said it. He's publicly on the record saying that he'd be severely disappointed if Warsh did not cut rates right away. It's a direct quote.
So if these reporters come back and say to do another follow-up on this and they confirm what they heard, what will your response be?
Well, my response would be what I suggested to you a few moments ago. As I read that story in real time, I remember thinking they either need better journalistic standards or better sources.
Yeah, there we go. Costello, I don't think you understand what ad hominem attacks are. I call names, but I'm also providing an argument. So I'm actually it's more like I'm being an asshole, but I'm also providing an argument. Ad hominem is where you don't bring anything to the table. No clip, no argument. It's just ad hominem. And I'm not doing that because obviously I'm showing video after video after video. So that wouldn't make sense. It'd be ad hominem if I was just sitting here yelling at the chat and not showing anything. But you can come up here too. Any of you can come up here once again. It'd be nice to have you out of the chat and here instead. Thom Tillis, who has been holding up this Fed chair nomination. I wasn't going to show this, but I do think that this is still pathetic. I think this Thom Tillis is one of the few Republicans who seems to have any semblance of a background or backbone when it comes to Donald Trump. But even here, just obviously lying so that he can go back to his constituency and his Republican friends and be like, that's all right, I still support Trump.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Warsh, congratulations.
Excuse me, a day in Florida life said, 3 months here. Every day, wish more would listen over here hearing. Thank you. Amy said she can blame she's part indigenous if Trump can claim he's Christian. Or she can claim she's part indigenous if Trump can claim he's Christian. That's all it took for Trump is just to tell you guys he's Christian. They're like, yeah, he totally is. Good point. I've looked into that claim by her. I don't really know where it comes from. I don't know. It got blown way out of proportion. It's another instance, though, of Republicans having this different standard for liberals than they would ever hold for anybody on their side. And they focus on the weirdest things. Like, if you want to criticize Elizabeth Warren, tell me something she did. Tell me some piece of legislation that you disagree with. Tell me an opinion that you disagree with. Like, I really don't care. If she either lied or was just wrong about being indigenous, I'm sorry, that's not the end of the world for me. I don't know why you guys focus on that stuff. For people who love calling other people snowflakes and talking about social issues all the time and being social justice warriors, you sure seem to only know like social justice stuff when it comes to Democrats.
You can't count this as a date with Jane, particularly this one. I think probably the first hearing was a little less acrimonious. I'm not going to
just ban J-Sex. Just ban it. I'm done with J-Sex. Just ban him forever. I don't care.
Ask you anything. You can take a break and get ready for the bludgeoning on the other side. They're going to beat you till you bleed, and then they're going to beat you for bleeding. I'm going to talk about what's preventing me from being in a position to vote for you until we've spent time together in my office. You have extraordinary credentials. They're impeccable. I think the way you're dealing with the ethics issue is strong. Problem I have is where we are right now. And I start by saying, I loved your opening statement. I love your focus on the end.
He printed out his opening statement. He's so desperate.
Independence of the Fed. I love the idea of Fed independence with respect to achieving the dual mandate, but Fed transparency on so many other things that the Fed does that, frankly, we're all frustrated with, bank examination, supervision being some among them that I think we should have more insight into. Mr. Chair, I'd like to submit for the record 2 executive orders under President Trump, one in 2020 and one in 2025, talking about making federal.
Sorry. I'm sorry, we have to highlight this. Murky Fitness. I'm a traditionally masculine Mexican guy that's 30 years old and religious. I can't see a reason to be left if they consistently bash who I am. What am I to do? Shut the fuck up. It's not a dating app. Nobody fucking cares. Literally nobody's attacking you for being religious. Joe Biden was a devout Catholic who went to church every Sunday. Nobody's coming after you. I don't even know what a traditional masculine Mexican guy is. Nobody fucking cares. Some people don't want to date you because you're religious. That's fine. I don't want to date religious people. Religious people don't want to date me. That's fine. Nobody cares if you're traditionally masculine, which I assume means you just like walk around with your dick out and you're really hairy. I have no idea what that means. But Jesus fucking Christ, man, you are not a victim. Nobody on the left is attacking you. Nobody's going after you for being Mexican, for being traditionally masculine, or for being religious. Stop the victim complex, you big fucking baby. Learn something. Learn something. That would be my advice to you. Say, what am I to do? Learn something. Find one instance of them coming after you, like the Democrats or the left coming after you. Nobody's coming after you. I'm so tired of Christian men acting like little bitches all the time. You weren't? You didn't say they were coming after you? That's what you said. It sounds like a dating profile. That's what I was pointing out. Did we not? Why is J-Sex still here? Can somebody ban J-Sex real quick? I'm tired of J-Sex. There it is. Yeah, see what happened there, Murky? I just brought up that you're crying like a baby and you tried to fight me. That's probably why people don't like you. You took a weird turn here in the chat. You came in being a victim because you're Christian and traditionally masculine, which was a weird fucking thing for you to say. And I said it was a weird fucking thing for you to say, and now you want to fight me. This is probably why women don't like you. It's probably why you're struggling here. You just said I wouldn't say that in this guy's talking big, but wouldn't say this in real life. Brother, I would call you a whiny bitch in real life, and if you punched me, then I would think you were an even bigger bitch. What are you talking about? This is good advice I'm giving you. You might not like it, but this is good advice. Stop crying. Stop complaining. Stop being a victim about your religion. Bro, most of this country is religious. I don't know how you guys find you. Like, turn off Andrew Tate. He's not going to help you. All right. It was a weird thing you said.
Architecture beautiful again, and focusing on trying to preserve the integrity of old buildings.
Without objection.
Thank you. And Mr. Chair, I will be submitting an analysis. But if
Christian and traditionally masculine, so he's for sure on Grindr. Yeah. And he said, if it goes back to sleep, it goes back to keep it simple and repeat. They believe 3 and 4 word phrases that repeat it over and over. Cambridge Analytica's advice to the Trump campaign. Facts.
we can go to slide 2 and turn it up right. Much has been made about the building project that has Chair Powell under investigation.
Alfredo, I appreciate your comment. I'm not going to read that one out loud.
I'm not going to get into the details except to say that I used to work for a firm that did audit and compliance. So I'm naturally wired to go back from the ground up and figure out what the deal is. Here's what I know. The Martin building has been conflated into this project.
Now, Trump keeps saying that this project. So now he's trying to investigate Jerome Powell for this project, and he says it's $4 billion. It's actually $3 billion. Even when you include the Martin building, it's $3 billion. And he says the cost overruns were because the government is inefficient, and that works if you never look into this. But I want to point out here, this is a Republican now. And he's going to talk about the cost overruns on this project and why there should be no investigation here.
I'm not going to get into the details except to say that I used to work for a firm that did audit and compliance. So I'm naturally wired to go back from the ground up and figure out what the deal is. Here's what I know. The Martin building has been conflated into this project to make it a $4 billion building. Even if you put the Martin building in, it's a $3 billion building. The reality is, what we're talking about is the Eccles building and the East building, for which, bring that up higher, Jack, you're a tall guy so people can see it. These are the overruns. And these overruns occurred in part because the cost of inputs went up 69% since the...
Oh, you don't say. How did you expect them to control for the cost of inputs? How are they going to do that?
Original estimate. Asbestos was identified. Remediation was required.
I don't know who said that. Whoever said that aren't Democrats trying to do the Stop Nick Shirley Act. I don't know the details on that. Somebody brought that up the other day. I still haven't read it, but what I saw from it, I would not support the Stop Nick Shirley Act. I wouldn't agree with that too. And Tyler, just so we know, I'm not a Democrat here. I'm very critical of Republicans, but from what I read from the Stop Nick Shirley Act, I would also not support that, and I don't think people should support that.
Pylons had to be built underneath the building because it turns out they used it as a landfill and they had a water table issue. There were a variety of reasons.
How do we stop that? How do we stop a water table issue? This is why you don't elect like an idiot to be president who just speaks off the cuff. Because he comes in and he says like, oh, the government wastes money. Look at this big waste. They're way over budget. And everybody's like, oh, yep, that's just the government wasting money again. Input costs and a water table issue. What do you want them to do about that?
And as a matter of fact, if we put everybody in prison in federal government that had a budget go over, we'd have to reserve an area roughly the size of Texas for a penal colony because of the way government projects work. And the reality is the overage of inflation adjusted was about $730 million, the majority of which seems to be legitimate. Next slide. Not acceptable, unfortunate, but legitimate. Now, what I've really got a problem with, and we're talking about Fed independence. By the way, I think you're going to be independent. You have to be. You got to convince 11 other people to vote with you, at least a majority. It's a consistent.
I see a lot of you guys talking about the Nick Shirley Act. Stop Nick Shirley Act. I'll pull it up in a second. It might not be the bill that I was thinking that somebody pulled up. I'll pull it up in a second. We'll look at it.
This organization, you try to get the majority to. Most of these votes are 11-1. So if anybody thinks the president can appoint somebody and you unilaterally can control things, you're going to be an unsuccessful chair if history is any guide, and you've served under some of the best. So I know you're going to do it right. The problem that I have here is that we had some U.S. attorney with a dream, or assistant U.S. attorney, thinking it would be cute to bring Chair Powell under an investigation just a few months before
All
the
right. Now, this is the part where fuck off, Thom Tillis. This is pathetic. So what he's saying here now, what they're trying to spin is that Trump didn't know anything about this investigation into Chairman Powell, and that this is just some rogue person at the DOJ who brought these charges.
position was going to be open. This happened this year. Normal course and speed. Here's how it works at the Fed. May the 15th, the term would have expired. We'd be having this hearing. You'd be getting confirmed. Custom also suggests that the sitting chair, even though he has 2 years left on his term, would have exited. But instead, we have somebody who thinks a building project that went over by about 700.
Real quick, is this the activist judge, or this the activist? No, just some random attorney that did it without Trump knowing?
Cut it out. Do you know how many convictions we've got? Cut it out. You're in one lane. We have cleaned up this city. Oh, yeah, historic, really? I'll tell you what's historic. What's historic is that I prosecute everything other than 10% of the cases, where the United States attorney before me didn't prosecute 67% of the cases. That's what's historic. I'm willing to take a notch.
Just having a tantrum after saying the case wasn't allowed to run its course. Is that who we're talking about? That's the person that Trump didn't know about?
$1 million with a lot of what seemed to be justifications for it are holding up this whole process. It sounds like to me somebody over in the DOJ didn't even check with the boss. The boss said on the same night that I said I can't go forward until this bogus investigation is done with, said he didn't know anything about it. So we've got people in DOJ over in the D.C.
All right, look, let's see what Trump had to say about that today. Maybe they should have coordinated their messages here.
Best thing that we need now is for Jay Powell to leave in May, like he's supposed to, and to have Kevin Warsh in as Fed chair for that next June meeting. But we still have this Justice Department probe hanging over. And I've seen things that you said in recent interviews, Mr. President, and I want to ask you again, if it would be possible for the Banking Committee to completely investigate all of your concerns about the cost overruns and the testimony of Jay Powell in front of Congress, if you could take that off-ramp to get this moving, and Jay Powell leaves, Kevin Warsh goes in, is that something you'd consider dropping for the DOJ probe to let the Banking Committee handle it?
From the standpoint, Joe, from the standpoint that we have to find out why a small building costs close to $4 billion. It's not finished, by the way. They have a long way to go. They ripped down the most beautiful ceilings. They'll never build them again. The most beautiful, thick, 1.5 foot thick walls of solid masonry. They're never going to be built again. They put up 6-inch sheetrock walls, and they say, so we have no insulation. It's not in the budget. I mean, these walls, they had the best. That building was so beautiful. I would have fixed that building. I would have had it brand new, beautiful for $25 million. And they're going to spend close to $4 billion, maybe more than that. I don't know. It's not finished. In fact, I looked at it the other day. I'm afraid Kevin will have to have an office next to me in the White House because that building's not going to be done.
So he said we need to investigate this? But he doesn't know anything about this investigation. That's what Thom Tillis wants us to believe. I don't know anything about it. Same day. Trump saying we need to investigate it. Same day.
Circuit or the D.C. district doing these investigations. We have got to end this investigation. Big DOJ didn't know about it. The president didn't know about it. Let's get rid of this investigation so I can support your confirmation. Mr. Warsh,
How about this one from March 19th? Again, didn't know about it? Thom Tillis is going to sit there and tell us Trump didn't know about this?
And the last one, if I could, the Fed chairman told me yesterday that he plans to stay until a new Fed chairman is confirmed. He also plans to stay on the board until the investigation of the Federal Reserve is done.
Well, he's under investigation because he's building a building for hundreds of billions of dollars more than it's supposed to cost.
That was March 19th. What's today? April 20th, 21st, something like that? That was March 19th. We're just going to sit here and pretend. And look, they have a staff. They know this. This is just sucking on the teat of Donald Trump. They're just lying. How is the Senate lying for Donald Trump? Why do the Republicans lie so much for this guy?
Thing I've found the least bit odd about you is you've never watched an episode of Seinfeld. You've spent so much time at being a rock-solid economist.
The rock-solid economist who was integral in bailing out all the banks after 2008. Somebody who cheerleaded the proliferation of collateralized debt obligations, which led to the financial collapse of 2008. But yeah, he's been a fucking rock star. He's been incredible.
You're not even taking time away for a little laugh like that. I look forward to supporting your nomination, and I look forward to this investigation being taken down. If the chair wants to have all of our subcommittees start looking at capital expenditure projects for the agencies that we're overseeing, I think that's a great idea. And I'd like to be on a committee specifically.
All right. So, gross. Iris said, happy Wednesday, choo-choo, Alfredo. Oh, yeah, I told you I couldn't read that one. I got that one from Amy Lynn. Just a reminder, guys, we are crowdfunded. I haven't seen Jen for a little while. I'm not just sure if Jen's still around, so I'll update that goal when she gets it back. But we've got about 2 hours left in the show. Anything you do to help us knock out that gift goal by the end would be greatly appreciated. That's how we pay our bills. We don't take ad revenue. We don't get much ad revenue from YouTube or Twitch. I don't think we get any ad revenue, actually, from Twitch. For some reason, they don't pay us on any of the ads. So if you're seeing ads, maybe check with Twitch and ask them why they're showing you ads, because we don't get revenue off that. But this is how we pay our bills. So if you can help us knock that out, that'd be greatly appreciated. Now, let's get back to the Nick Shirley. What is the Stop Nick Shirley Act? What is the Stop Nick Shirley Act? What do we know the bill number for that? I know I see whoever it was that you guys were arguing with, sorry, I'm bad with names, was saying that it is a anti-doxing. It's Tyler. Yeah, it's Tyler. It's anti-doxing. Okay, the Stop Nick Shirley Act is the nickname critics gave to the California Assembly Bill 2624, officially titled Privacy for Immigration Support Services Providers. It would expand privacy protections for people and organizations providing immigration support services, and opponents argue it could also chill filming or posting identifying information about them. What it does is described as a privacy and anti-harassment measure for immigration support service providers. Okay. What does it do? Republicans are saying it could be used against independent journalists or citizen watchdogs who record or expose alleged fraud. Oh, okay. Well, Nick Shirley didn't expose any fraud. This is going to blow up the fucking chat. We've done this before, but Nick Shirley didn't expose anything. Nick Shirley took reporting that already existed and court cases that are already underway and talked about them, and then he accused people of getting rich without any evidence. Like all those people he showed cars of, he has no idea what they even did for a living. None. He just said everybody was making a fortune. He showed cars. He videotaped children who were sitting there alone, which was fucking weird. Who started the idea that Stop Nick Shirley Act? It's saying that this was used by political opponents. So I'm guessing it was like a Fox News thing. What did you say it did? Tyler? What did you say it did? How would it quell independent journalism? Yeah, I'm with you there. They do need it. I would sue Nick Shirley for defamation for sure. What is it, Tyler? I'm listening to you now. Where's the part that says it's gonna allow doxing? Is that what you're saying? Or are you just gonna stand behind this and not cite a spot? No, Steve, listen, brother. This is like, don't give Nick Shirley credit. Honestly, don't. Because everybody else already reported it. We all knew about it before you did. We all covered those stories before you did. The Nick Shirley story in Minnesota, I had covered in January, and he covered it in December. So yeah, it's a little weird for a lot of us who have covered it and like mainstream outlets to see you guys giving Nick Shirley credit because you don't pay attention to anything but right-wing media. It wouldn't allow independent journalists to investigate these things. Yes, it would. What's the part that says they wouldn't be able to investigate it? It just says it wouldn't give them access to their names. Why couldn't they investigate? Nick Shirley didn't have anybody's names in that investigation. In that journalism, whatever we want to call it. He just had public records. It didn't have their names. I don't think any of this, from what I see, would have been a problem for Nick Shirley, except for when he was videotaping kids. I don't think you read this, Tyler. If you did, can you give me like a section that says that this would somehow stop that? Some had already been prosecuted, true. They're saying it's doxing to pass it through? Who's saying that? Who's saying it's doxing to pass the bill? It doesn't make sense. Passing the bill doesn't have anybody's names in it. That couldn't be doxing. I think you might have just got ahead of your skis here, Tyler. I'm out. I can't handle stupidity. He just runs. I'll say it. I've said it a million times. All you have to do to get a Republican to shut the fuck up is ask them some questions. And then they're like, I'm leaving. I'm not doing this anymore. All right. Well, good try, Tyler. Have a good day. Thanks for being here with us. All right. Moving on. We also had RFK testifying. I think this was.
I reckon.
Make sure this is. Yeah. RFK also testifying. This is a actual doctor. And this is what happens when you have an actual doctor grilling RFK. It doesn't go well for him.
Dr. Ruiz for his 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you. Mr. Secretary, do you approve of President Trump's nomination for Dr. Eric
Annette says, let's all jump on the dollar train. Thanks, Annette. Appreciate that.
Schwartz to be the next CDC director?
Yes, I do.
So you agree with him?
Yes.
Were you consulted?
Yes.
Great. Did you speak to the president directly about this choice before she was nominated? Did you speak with the president before her nomination about her?
We were the ones who sent her nomination to the White House.
So, but did you speak to the president?
I have not spoken to the president directly, but my staff, Chris Klump, spoke directly to the president.
All right. So you didn't speak with the president about a major decision that they were all going to make that you, on an agency that you oversee. Did you speak with Erica Schwartz prior to her nomination to vet her?
Yeah, on multiple occasions.
Great. And have you spoken with her since?
Yes, I have.
Did you vet her positions on vaccines?
I did.
Okay. Well, here, let me remind you what she said.
That's the last person you want vetting somebody's vaccine ideas. The dude who has been consistently wrong over a decade now. That's who. And this is one of those weird things about Republicans and MAGA. Like, RFK has been wrong about virtually everything with vaccines. And the more he gets wrong, the more you think he's right.
About vaccines, quote, when I was a military physician, my job was all about readiness. It was all about public health, prevention, vaccines, early detection. If we get that right, we change lives before illness ever begins. It was all about vaccines. And if we get that right, we can change lives. So this runs contrary to your dangerous anti-vaccine crusade, Mr. Secretary. These questions are important because you fired the last CDC director, Susan Monarez, because she refused to, quote, give blanket approval, unquote, and rubber stamp your efforts to dismantle the childhood vaccination schedule without any scientific evidence to do so. Remember that?
That's not true.
Well, this is what was reporting what she testified in front of the Senate.
Yeah, but what
you
she testified to
dismantled-
was not true.
But you dismantled the program, replaced the ACEP board with anti-vaxxers anyway, things that she said you were going to do, and you did it. So when we talk
I
about...
appreciate that. Thanks, Sinister. There we go. RFK was 100% right about the COVID vaccine, or Democrats living under a Rick. I think you meant Rock. And this is like further evidence that you are. I just want to do something real quick. I want to just show you something. And so after we show you this, you have to tell us why we are living under a rock. I'm going to type in the question here. I'm going to use Perplexity Pro, which is great. Were the COVID vaccines safe and effective? Okay, we're just going to search that question. And again, because you said he's 100% right. So whatever this says, if it doesn't agree with you, you're going to have to give me some counter evidence. Yes, based on the evidence of major health institutions and real-world studies, COVID-19 vaccines were generally safe and effective, especially at reducing severe illness, hospitalization, and death. Effectiveness, early clinical trials and later real-world studies showed strong protection against severe outcomes, with the biggest benefit being fewer hospitalizations and death. Protection against infection waned over time and varied by variant and season, but CDC guidelines still describe vaccines as providing lasting protection against critical illness or death. A fair summary is the vaccines were not risk-free, but the benefit to risk balance was strongly favorable for most people, particularly older adults and people at higher risk for severe COVID-19. Some rare side effects did occur, but overall the data support that the vaccination prevented many more severe outcomes than it caused. See, there it is. Watch them. They're just going to yell bullshit. See? This is the difference between us and you. Vibes, feeling, emotion versus data. No data. You don't have any data to back any of this stuff up. It's just stories. Brother, efficacy was proven less and less effective over time. That's what it said. Yeah, that's how this works, bud. Because why was efficacy less and less effective over time? Because the strains mutate. That's why. You guys all believe the dumbest people in this country. Always. You take the wrong position on literally everything. It wasn't tested and it's not a vaccine. That's why your mod blocks anyone who doesn't agree. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, here's the tests. Those aren't tests? Where was these clinical trials from the NIH? These weren't tests? Beginning June 2021, it is an 18-month clinical trial right here. What was that? This is fake too, right? Oh yeah, good point. Fake news, Jay. My brother's wife's uncle, grandpa died from the jab. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Why did Gates make $550 million off of it? I bet he didn't. How much did Bill Gates make from the COVID vaccine? Let's see. There's no credible evidence that Bill Gates personally made a specific amount of money from COVID vaccines. The most widely circulated number claim is misleading. It confuses the social and economic return from foundation vaccine investments with the private profit to Gates. Gates Foundation said it committed more than $2 billion. Oh, so it spent $2 billion to the COVID response. AFP fact check reported that $200 billion figure came from an estimate from a total social benefit from vaccine investment, not cash Gates received. Oh, whoops, he didn't. Want to keep doing it? Let's just do all of them. Let's do more. Fake source, yeah.
Whenever it doesn't come up what I say, whenever it doesn't confirm what I say, I just say fake source.
Anything else? You just proved my point that it's not completely tested. It's not a vaccine. Why is it not a vaccine, Dino? Let's do this. Is the COVID vaccine a vaccine? Let's see. Yes, they're vaccines. What's your counter data to that?
On Rogan, they said it wasn't truly a vaccine.
What else? You're on the losing side of the argument. The losing side of the argument is the people who died. Let's look at the countries who. Let's compare outcomes of countries most heavily vaccinated. I don't know. I think it's vaccinated too. I think vaccinated to countries least vaccinated. And let's see how they did. Should we do that? Oh, yeah. By the way, shout out to bringing the measles back. Thanks. In broad terms, countries with higher COVID vaccination coverage generally had better outcomes, especially fewer deaths and lower excess mortality. Let's see if there's any data here in this report. All right, this is excess mortality in Europe. 2000. So this is slower vaccination rate versus faster vaccination rate. And this is death, 2.7 deaths to 1. So 2.7 times higher with slower vaccination rate. Mortality decrease, slower 4.9 to 1. Mortality decrease 2.5 to 1. Slower boosters versus faster boosters, 2.6 to 1. Where's your data? You got something like this? You want to share with us? Share with the class here? Great stuff, guys. All right, let's keep going.
About truth and who is being honest, I would trust her because that's what you did, even though you were denied to Senator Cassidy that you wouldn't do that. Mr. Secretary.
I had a very good...
Yeah, you guys are all about trust. Like, the data is in there. You just saw the sources there, right? You could have just checked the sources there. This is, again, you don't know how to process data. If we go back to that, you can actually see where they pull the sources from. Let me go back. We'll pull it back up here. We'll help you out. And this is why it's easy to dupe you. You have no idea what you're looking at ever. But if we go down here and we click on this, is it above or below? There we go. Methods. We selected 29 countries from our World and Data Project database, according to their population size of more than 1 million and the availability of information on the dominant SARS-CoV strains during the COVID-19 infection waves. After selection, we categorized countries according to their faster or slower vaccination rates. The first category included countries that reached 60% of vaccinated residents by October 2021 and 70% by January 2022. Anyways, you can go through all of this, and they'll tell you exactly where they got their data. There is the conclusion. You can search the keywords if you want, and all of this shows you how they did the study. You can just look at all this stuff. It's not that hard. I don't believe it. Joe Rogan said differently.
About truth and who is being honest, I would trust her because that's what you did.
Good point, Amy Lynn said Trump received them all. If it's dangerous, could it hurry up and work? Jamie, thank you. Said for informing people, even the closed-minded people. I appreciate that.
Even though you were denied to Senator Cassidy that you wouldn't do that. Mr. Secretary.
I had a very good reason for firing her, and it had
so let me
nothing to
ask
do
you a
with
question.
vaccines.
Because you and her have very different opinions on vaccines, did you change your views on vaccines?
You want a soundbite, or do you want to have a discussion? Because what you're saying
You just asked a question is all.
is absolutely wrong.
What you have demonstrated throughout your entire time as secretary is the dismantling of the childhood vaccination programs that has been detrimental to our nation and puts our nation at risks of getting more communicable diseases, which has been shown through the flu, through the measles. Those cases have been rising, Mr. Secretary.
I'm putting
Dr.
$1 billion
Schwartz, do you agree
into
with
vaccine
Dr. Schwartz
research.
and her vaccine position?
I'm putting $1 billion.
No,
into
Mr.
vaccine
Secretary, if
research.
Dr. Schwartz is confirmed, will you commit on the record today to implement whatever vaccine guidance she issues without interference?
I'm not going to make that kind of commitment.
Because you probably won't, you'll probably fire her. as well as you did Director Mornarez, because you will not accept the recommendations based on science.
You're getting your
Mr.
sound
Secretary,
bite, but you're not getting
it
truth.
has been reported by Bloomberg that the president and the White House have sidelined you. They've benched you because you are making the president.
Yeah, COVID is still around, Patrick. Despite Donald Trump and every right-winger saying it's nothing more than the common cold and it'll go away when it warms up. You were all wrong about everything. Every step of the way that you've been wrong. That's why it's still around. Again, I don't think you know what vaccinations do. They help provide herd immunity. The more people are vaccinated, the less likely it is that COVID will continue to expand. Yes, Maria, I am permanently banned on TikTok. We're waiting for approval on our backup account.
Bad. Are you aware of that?
That's not true.
How does that make you feel, Mr. Secretary? You must be aware of that.
I mean,
and it must be nerve-wracking, especially after A.G. Bondi. Especially after A.G. Bondi and Secretaries Noam and Chavez de Rimmer got fired for making the president look bad. You see, I think the reporting...
Do you guys know this shit about Chavez de Rimmer? She was the secretary of... what was she? What was de Rimmer? I had missed this. What was she? Was it agriculture? Labor? Labor. Like, she got accused of sexual harassment multiple times, and then so did her husband and her husband's dad. And they were just like sexually harassing everybody. And she would like make people go get her bottles of wine in the middle of the day. She was just a drunk. And then she and her husband and her dad were just sexually harassing everybody. Cool.
Is correct, Mr. Secretary.
You're just making
the president look bad, especially before the midterms elections. You talked publicly about snorting cocaine off a toilet bowl seat. Your words, not mine.
True.
You said that if you were president, you would, quote unquote, reparent black children. Again, in other words, taking them away from their parents. Your words, not mine.
True.
Furthermore, the American people think your anti-vaccination crusade is too extreme. A KFF polling shows that 55% of the Americans disapprove, with 37% strongly disapprove of your work.
I heard that. Yeah, it was like a New York Post story, and they had her like in a bikini for the story. I heard that.
Mr. Secretary, 56% have little to no confidence. The majority have little to no confidence in your work with vaccines. And you keep losing. Americans are sicker now more than ever. Measles cases were up to 2,288 in 2025, more than the previous year. This year is going to be worse, with cases already at 1,748. So, Mr. Secretary, you should resign for your dangerous dismantling of our public's health, and before the president fires you too. And when you do get fired, don't say I didn't tell you.
Members' time.
We might get ourselves a firing spree here pretty soon. Trump's getting pretty upset. RFK's job is safe. He's a male. Yeah, I mean, he's not next. But speaking of not vaccines, you know how, because I think what you guys are saying is mRNA is not a vaccine. One cool thing about mRNA is we're finding out that not only is it a very effective delivery system for vaccines, and it can be mass produced, but it's also now having really positive outcomes in cancer. Check out this story while you hate mRNA again.
Today, Donna Gustafson is the picture of health, something the 72-year-old grandmother couldn't have imagined 6 years ago visiting her daughter in Australia.
We went to the emergency room in Australia to get an IV, thinking I was low on fluids. And they told me that I had pancreatic cancer.
What were your chances of survival?
Well, they never really want to tell you. But pancreatic cancer is often a death sentence.
In New York, she had surgery to remove the tumor and was...
Dino, vaccines don't make you immune. It is a vaccine. We literally pulled it up. Can you tell me, Dino, why it's not a vaccine while I play this? Can you just in your next comment explain why it's not a vaccine, and we'll look that up? I don't even understand what your fucking argument is, to be honest.
Scheduled for chemo until she was offered to
Hey,
be
congratulations, Bobby. 4 years free of pancreatic cancer. Shout out Bobby in the chat. Well done.
first person to get an experimental vaccine at Memorial Sloan Kettering.
It was a no-brainer. I knew that statistically the odds were against me.
The vaccine works by taking the patient's tumor and creating a personalized mRNA vaccine that teaches their immune system to fight the cancer cells.
So we actually have to measure.
Leading the research is Dr. Vinod Balachandran. He showed us Donna's dramatic immune response.
Even at 6 years, you can find the immune cells made by the vaccine circulating in her blood at very high levels.
She received 8 infusions of the vaccine, chemo, a booster, and is cancer-free. What have you done with those extra 6?
I never have said that COVID vaccine made you immune. I said it increases herd immunity. Not immune. Dude, that's not how vaccines work. When you have a virus like COVID, what it does is it hops from host to host, and the vaccine makes it less likely for it to be able to essentially attach to you. And the more people are vaccinated, whether they're either vaccinated or they've gotten COVID, and so they have the antibodies, it makes it so that the virus can't jump host to host. That's the whole point of vaccines. That's how they work. You are not immune because you are vaccinated. So you're making this weird argument that because people can be vaccinated and still get COVID, it's not a vaccine. Like flu shots, you also can still get the flu. Right? Like it's just a misunderstanding of what a vaccine is.
We have had such a wonderful time.
No, herd immunity is when the herd has immunity, some sort of immunity. And that can be because they got that immunity. Like, how the fuck do you think we got rid of the chicken pox? How do you think we got killed off measles? Do you think everybody got it? You don't think it had anything to do with vaccines? It's just a fundamental misunderstanding of what words mean. And what sucks about this, I don't even want to shit on people. You are making yourself, your neighbors, and everybody else less safe because of a political divide. This anti-vax shit happened during COVID when everybody didn't have anything better to do, and we just wanted to divide ourselves amongst along scientific lines. If you take the scientific consensus, it says get vaccinated, get boosters, overwhelmingly. And you can use anecdotal evidence, and you can talk about stories all you want, but there is zero published, scientifically backed studies that say you are better off not being vaccinated. I will challenge you guys to give me one fucking study, one double-blind placebo study that says you are better off unvaccinated than vaccinated. And until then, you got to shut the fuck up. Because obviously we're not going to believe your little stories. So give me a study that we can look at that's placebo and double-blind. And then we can trust it.
Ed and I celebrated our 50th wedding anniversary. I was here to see 2 more of my grandchildren.
Donna's story is part of new data.
Donna, I'm talking to a lot of people, not just you. You can come up here and talk to me if you want all of your views to be. It's not just about you, but give me this study, please.
Being presented Monday at a major cancer conference.
What kind of difference could this make?
Pancreatic cancer is the toughest.
Thanks, Zach.
So
thanks for the show. As always, someone mentioned in the chat earlier, but did you see the new disturbing Trump meme he posted and immediately took down? I didn't. Send it to Jen. I haven't seen it.
Our hope is if we can crack the toughest, hopefully we can learn how to crack the rest.
Of 16 people in a phase 1 trial, 8 had a response to the vaccine. 2 saw their cancer come back, but not Donna.
Every day I wake up and thank God I'm here.
Now living, she says, in a state of gratefulness. Ann Thompson, NBC News, Saddle River, New Jersey.
Mary, see, this is the thing, Mary. This is what I'm talking about. You are relying on stories instead of studies. Perfect example. Please tell me how come people got the shot and had heart attacks. Because first of all, myocarditis is a symptom of COVID, and it can be a symptom from being vaccinated. There are vaccine injuries. There are some people, and again, it's about statistics. Are you statistically better off being vaccinated than not? Yes. Can you be injured from the vaccine? Yes. Are you more likely to die being unvaccinated or vaccinated? Unvaccinated. It's just about statistics. But imagine where you're at, Mary. You are now in a situation where a story has convinced you to be less safe. Don't say no. 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 Give me a study, Mary. Give me one fucking study. One of you guys, give me a study. I had myocarditis from COVID. I got COVID early, long before there was a vaccine. I had myocarditis. It scared the shit out of me. I was driving in my car. My heart rate was like 137. I thought I was having a heart attack. I went into the emergency room. They, at that point, didn't know that myocarditis was a symptom that you kept from COVID long after the other symptoms had went away. They didn't know what to do about it. We didn't figure it out until months later. But I was getting tested and tested and tested. If you look, like, even if you look this way, what you're talking about, are you more likely, let's find the data, more likely to get myocarditis from COVID or the COVID vaccine? Let's see what the numbers are. Yeah, mine was from COVID because I hadn't been vaccinated yet. Overall, you're more likely to get myocarditis from the COVID-19 infection than from the COVID vaccine. A large systemic review, again, an actual study here, which we can pull up. What does it say? We identified 22 eligible studies consisting of 55.5 million vaccinated cohorts and 2.5 million in the infection cohort. The median age was 49 years old, and 49% were men. Of patients diagnosed with myocarditis in both vaccination and COVID-19 cohort, 1% were hospitalized and 0.015% died. The relative risk for myocarditis was more than 7 times higher in the infection group than in the vaccination group. You are 7 times more likely to be hospitalized and die if you get myocarditis from being infected with COVID than from the mRNA vaccine. So again, statistically, just look at the statistics. Are you more likely to be safe if you're vaccinated or unvaccinated? Every single study, where this is 55 million people. This is a massive fucking study.
Mary seems to think that she had a heart attack after the vaccine and that was the cause. She's diagnosed herself with that.
That can also happen, and it still doesn't make you correct. It means that you're using anecdotal evidence and ignoring scientific data to prove your point. Right? Like, if you go outside and if somebody's riding a bike and you get hit by somebody that's riding a bike and you break your leg, then what do you tell everybody don't go outside anymore because somebody will hit you with their bike? No, it's a thing that happened. And you could have had pre-existing conditions that made you susceptible to that. What we're talking about here, though, is a study of 55 million people, and Mary wants us to believe her anecdotal story. I chose no vaccine because I didn't feel like I had the flu. Cool. You chose wrong, though. Like, you chose to put yourself at risk. It's fine to do it. Put yourself at risk, I guess. But see how every one of you just has a story? None of you have. I've asked repeatedly for any study. RFK never cites any studies. How come nobody has a fucking study, just stories? Whatever you say, it's not what I'm saying. 55 million people. Like, you're dedicated to being wrong. A bizarre thing that you guys do. Sorry about your heart attack, though, Mary. That does suck. Having myocarditis myself, that was very scary. And I don't wish that on anybody. So I'm sorry that happened to you. But you're still statistically putting yourself at greater risk because of your story. All right. Let's go here. I wanted to do this. About an hour and a half left. I wanted to show this. This is unbelievable. We don't show a lot of like the Piers Morgan show, but he had a good day yesterday. First, he had on Professor Morandi. If you're not familiar with Professor Morandi, it is fair to call Professor Morandi Iranian apologist. He's part of the negotiating team for the Iranians. He certainly has a bias for the Iranians, and he's biased towards the Palestinians over the IDF, which I tend to agree with. I tend to agree with most of what he's saying, but just to put it out there, like, this is somebody with a bias. He asked Piers Morgan the same question 3 times. And I don't think Piers Morgan is too stupid to understand this question. Maybe he is. If he is, I don't know why he has this show. But we do need to address the fact that a lot of people in this country, conservative-leaning people, believe in ethno-supremacism. meaning that like your genetics make you superior. Donald Trump says this all the time. It's not like this isn't an accusation. He talks repeatedly about his genetics and how they make him superior. He talks repeatedly about how like other countries are low IQ because of like the people that come from that country. He is an ethno-supremacist. Andrew Wilson's similar ethno-supremacist. A lot of these people on the right are ethno-supremacists, and it's just mediocrity being afraid. And Morandi asked Pierce this question 3 different times. Pierce won't answer it.
My government does not help the Israeli regime carry out genocide. And you have never said that you do not accept ethno-supremacism. Because if you say you don't, that means you do not accept the legitimacy of the Israeli regime. Do you accept?
You have never accepted.
Do you accept?
You have never
I do not
accepted.
accept.
Hang on.
Tell me, do you reject ethno-supremacism? Do you believe that a regime that is based on ethno-supremacism is illegitimate or not?
Well, I don't exactly know what you mean. What do you mean?
It means, do you have a birthright that means you get to own the land in Palestine? These Zionist marauders that are going through Gaza right now and taking over people's homesteads and beating the shit out of people. Do they have a right to do that because of their ethnicity? That's what the question means. Or do you believe that there is somehow some sort of ethno-supremacy? And let's be honest about who the Israelis are. They believe that biblically they have a right to that land. It's based on a God that nobody can see, nobody can prove exists, and they believe that because of who they are ethnically, they are supreme and they get that land no matter who's there.
Regime that is based on the concept of ethno-supremacism, is it legitimate or not?
Well, what I would repeat to you is what I've repeated to people about Israel for the last year. The Israeli government, not the people of Israel or the country, but its current government under Bibi Netanyahu has been doing a lot of things which I strongly disagree with. Yeah.
Do you reject
Try again.
A regime that accepts, that carries out a regime, not an administration, not a government, a regime that is based on ethno-supremacism?
Well, I literally last week...
That is why Hezbollah died.
Let me answer.
That's why people in Hezbollah died for the people of Gaza.
Fine. If you let me answer, only last week I attacked the Israeli government and Ben-Gvir in particular for the way they brought in a new law which would only kill Palestinians who they deemed terrorists.
That's a good point, Casey, that Israel gives those same rights to the people who convert too, which is a bizarre thing to do. Like, it's a birthright. Like we own this by birthright, but if you believe what we believe, then you are adopted into the birthright. It is bizarre.
Execute them with the death penalty, but not Israelis. Right? I thought that was outrageous and appalling.
I want to be clear here. While we're criticizing the state of Israel, we're not doing anti-Semitism here. Okay. Don't confuse this stream where we criticize Israel as being anti-Semitic. We're not doing that. We're not criticizing Jewish people as a whole. We're criticizing the state of Israel, and we're criticizing the people in Israel who support ethno-supremacism. So please just be aware. If you think you're on our side and you're doing if you're saying anti-Semitic shit, the mods will mute you.
And probably an example of what you're talking about.
You know, if you were talking about apartheid South Africa like this, or if anyone was, you would be attacking them. If anyone had given me the same answer when I said you accept a regime that's based on racial superiority or on racial preference.
It's crazy to think one of these is on the side of the U.S. and Iran, and Pierce is on neither side. Praise to Bibi.
Or hierarchy, you would have been totally aggressive and rejected it outright.
I've literally just told you. You didn't obviously watch it.
You didn't.
You obviously didn't watch it. I've literally just told you. I've literally just told you that last week I did exactly that.
About a law. That's a law. I'm talking about the regime itself. That law is only brought about because
I don't know why this is so hard for Pierce here to just like reject an ideology that, again, it makes a great point here. If we're talking about apartheid South Africa, it's an easy one. Why is it so hard And maybe it's the history. Maybe it's like the history of the mistreatment of the Jewish people, specifically the Holocaust. And so, maybe there's like that protected status that they apply to Israel. So they're very, very slow to criticize. But what's the difference? Like you go now into the Middle East and you have the same like ethno-supremacist views. It's just that you believe somebody else is more supreme. Like that's exactly what the Aryans, the good pure Aryans, did to the Jews in Germany. Is there a difference here? Are we missing something? Gail said got long COVID pre-vaccine, 4 years SSDI battle, just one. While y'all watch RFK fumble vaccine policy, I'm living proof it matters. My ex had long COVID. It was a nightmare.
The nature of the regime.
So what happens next?
Well, ultimately, Trump is going to have to recognize that he is not going to get at the negotiating table what he could not get on the battlefield. He lost the war. The Iranian people were able to stand up a joint war where the Trump regime, the Netanyahu regime, and a coalition or proxies in the region along with them were assisting them, and they failed. So why should Iran submit to the United States? If the United States wants a peace agreement with Iran.
So weird to see non-Muslim Americans not supporting Israel or the Jews. Well, I think I'm supporting Jewish people. I'm certainly not supporting Israel. Do I have to support Jewish people that are part of the state of Israel who support a genocide? Do I have to do that? Leave it to young people to screw up tried, tested work. Tried and tested? Okay. What are you talking about? You want us to support a genocide? Why the fuck would I support a genocide? Oh, just yes? Oh, okay. Gotcha. Why do you support a genocide?
Then it has to be a balanced agreement. But if Trump thinks that he can impose his will like an emperor and an imperial power, well, the revolution 47 years ago put an end to that. That's what the revolution was about. And that's what the Iranians are going to continue to do. They're going to preserve their dignity and sovereignty. That's something that the United States, especially under Trump, is not used to seeing. But Iran is different from other countries.
Good try, Pierce. All right, but it did get a little better for Pierce. He found his wheelhouse here, and I got to admit, this isn't even that important. I was just happy to see it. If there's anybody I despise more in this country than Doug Wilson, Pete Hegseth's white nationalist, cockeyed pastor that lives up in Idaho and just says a bunch of racist shit all the time. I don't know if there's anybody I hate more. But I got two clips here. One for first, Piers cornering Doug Wilson for being an absolute genocidal maniac and a heartless piece of shit, and then Tim Miller quickly dismissing him.
Seems to me, if you're going to compare the Pope's rhetoric in the last month with Donald Trump's rhetoric, one has been brazenly espousing genocide, talking about the end of civilization in Iran, which would mean the murder of 90 million people, the vast majority.
He was talking about the regime.
Civilians. People could. Well, he wasn't talking about the regime, was he? He said,
This is such bullshit. You guys' president is so goddamn stupid that you consistently have to change what he says to make his arguments make sense. Donald Trump said he was going to obliterate Iran, that he would wipe Iran off the face of the map, that he was going to kill everybody in Iran. And they're like, well, he actually meant the regime. No. He didn't say that. It was pretty fucking clear what he said, but they can't go on and defend that, so now they just pretend that he was talking about the regime.
He said the end of civilization, not the end of the regime. Why do we try and pretend that Donald Trump didn't say what we heard him say?
Oh, look, you don't have to persuade me that Donald Trump's rhetoric can be all over the place. His tweets there were an art of the unhinged deal. He's dealing with a maniacal regime, and he is negotiating with them in public by means of these tweets. That's not to say that I approve of everything he says or the way he says it.
Threatening a genocide is That's how we negotiate. He's such a good negotiator that he has to threaten a genocide.
But I think I see what's going on, and you don't have to accuse him of genocide when he's done nothing of the kind.
We accused him of threatening a genocide, you dumb bitch.
No, but he threatened genocide. I mean, for the President of the United States to actually post something on his social media account which threatened the end of civilization in Iran, and then for supporters of the President, I've known him a long time, I get on very well with Donald Trump, but the idea that anyone would try and spin the words the end of civilization to mean specifically the end of a regime of a few 100,000 people, including the IRGC, is for the birds. That's not what he said. Why would you as a pastor go out of your way to try and justify what he said by downgrading it to something we know?
Because you're a fucking psychopath, that's why. But Tim Miller, who I'm not huge on Tim Miller. I don't love Tim Miller's politics. He's a bit of a fence sitter for me. But I just loved this. I loved the way. This is what we need to do to all of these people. Just dismiss them. Don't engage in their bullshit. Just dismiss them. Dismiss them as evil, genocidal maniacs.
Then last thing, I've been a quote-unquote pastor for just shy of 50
Yeah, Tim called him a quote-unquote pastor, and he was upset about that.
50 years. And so I'd like to know how much longer I have to go before I become a real pastor.
Well, you have to follow the teachings of Jesus Christ, probably, if you want to be a real pastor. I mean, you can call yourself whatever the hell you want, Doug. I'm just going to call you Doug. I'm kind of tired of you being called pastor, but, you know, if you just want to...
I think we can afford him.
Look, you're out there, you hate everybody. You attack black people, gay people, immigrants, like, all you do is spread hate. Your book that you've got behind there is you know, talking about how much you love bad words. Look, if you want to teach like this kind of fake Christianity, that's fine. You can do that. You know, if you want. No, I've not read your book. I'm very happy to have not read your book. But if you want to do this kind of vice signaling Christianity, where we're going to do
stop
Christian
commenting
vices,
on what it's about.
Well, I don't. I've seen enough of your material on social media that it doesn't really require anymore. I mean, it doesn't. It's not like there's a ton of deep thought that's going behind it that requires further study. As
the show started out, I thought we were supposed to refrain from attacking religious leaders.
This is my favorite part. Sorry. It's because he was attacking the Pope. He thinks he just landed a great joke there. Not one person thinks that's funny. This guy's a lunatic. By the way, so much charisma that he's leading Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth looks to this guy as his spiritual leader.
Refrain from attacking religious leaders.
I have no problem attacking the Pope. You attacked the Pope.
Well, I have no problem. Listen, real quick, Pastor. I have no problem attacking wolves in sheep's clothing. I have no problem attacking a man who wrote that American slavery was mutually harmonious between the slave master and the slave. That's you. I have no problem attacking a man who proudly says he wants to do away with the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote. I have no problem attacking a man like yourself who sits here incoherently supporting an incoherent, unwinnable, illegal war in Iran. I have no problem attacking you, a man who is the religious leader of Pete Hegseth, a man who's a cosplay crusader, who's leading some type of crusade, probably you put him on, as a Secretary of Defense, getting Americans and innocent civilians killed. I wish you would be a better Christian. I wish you would open up the Bible. I wish you would meet the Jesus that I met when I went to an all-boys Jesuit Catholic high school. The Jesus that took care of the sick, that took care of the poor, that welcomed the immigrant, that welcomed the marginalized, that helped them. But instead, you've used Jesus as a mascot for, I don't know, your white Christian supremacy, your cruelty, your misogyny. And I'm so glad that people are finally waking up to your cruelty and to the idiocy of your star disciple, Pete Hegseth, who keeps messing up and literally does not read the Bible and quotes Pulp Fiction. Just sit with them. Maybe both of you could read the Constitution, read the Bible, and just take a break, Pastor. Just take a break.
Yeah.
Do less.
All right, Pastor, your response.
Just incidentally, we know that Jesus was not a socialist because he could actually feed people.
Wonderful. Great response.
That's what you got. Man.
Watching it again. We're going to watch it again.
Take a break, Pastor. Just take a break.
Yeah.
Do less.
All right, Pastor, your response.
Just incidentally, we know that Jesus was not a socialist because he could actually feed people.
Wonderful. Great response.
That's what you got. Man, Doug.
Boom. Nobody was talking about socialists. That's what he came up with. He didn't want to defend any of that others. They were just quoting him directly. What a racist piece of shit bigot he was. And he's like, socialists can't feed people. Boom. Boom. All right. I got this question. There's people in here that have watched. There's MAGA people who have watched for a while, and you guys are here day in and day out. I do have a question. How much longer are you going to be able to stomach us being 6 months ahead of all of your conservative content creators and commentators before you realize maybe we just get things right? We're a year ahead of Nick Shirley, years ahead of Nick Shirley. We've been ahead on Donald Trump. We were ahead on Project 2025. It's getting old, frustratingly old at this point, to be right about fucking everything and then have you guys, your content creators, realize it a year in. And this is going to be a tough finish of the show for a lot of people. It's going to be tough for the conservatives because I'm going to show you a bunch of conservatives saying exactly what I'm saying, and tough for my audience because I'm going to show you a bunch of conservatives. But I want to start with, and I apologize in advance, I want to start with Alex Jones. And you guys tell me how long ago we reported this.
Remember Howard Lutnick? Turned out his son's company he signed over to him when he went into office bought up all of anybody that would sell of the insurance, Counter Fitzgerald, all of the insurance on companies that had insurance on tariffs, that if the tariffs got reversed.
Struggling to explain this? If you're not sure what Alex Jones is saying, Howard Lutnick owned a company called Cantor Fitzgerald. He claims that he no longer is part of it, but he still has ownership. And they were selling insurance contracts on tariffs for people who couldn't pay the tariffs for between 20 and 30 cents on the dollar. And Howard Lutnick was out there as the face of the tariff saying these tariffs will never be overturned. And now that they're overturned, they're going to collect on all those contracts and they're going to make hundreds of millions of dollars on these tariff refunds. And he works for the administration. And he was out there cheerleading this. You couldn't draw up a more perfect illegal act for somebody in this administration to do. They literally created a new product, which was this insurance on tariffs, and now they're going to cash out to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. And we told you about this in April of last year when they started introducing the tariffs. So we told you the IEEPA tariffs were not constitutional. The Supreme Court would rule against them. And here we are. It's been a year. We were a year ahead of right-wing media. Where were they?
They would get paid back for the cost. And they bought it about 25% on the dollar. Lutnick said, no, this will never be overturned. They believed it, so they sold it to him for 25 cents on the dollar on average. And then Lutnick, even the Supreme Court justice admitted, wrote the tariff wrong. Gorsuch sent Trump a letter saying if this had been changed, it was constitutional, but the way
that's not true.
The executive orders and things were written, this is the problem. Lutnick knew that. Lutnick sabotaged the tariffs, and now he's going to get tens of billions of dollars. Trump administration to begin refunding $166 billion in tariffs.
A year ago, we told you that. How many more times? Let's talk about, I didn't know Tucker Carlson had, I think this is his brother, Buckley. I think he has a son named Buckley, too. Buckle the fuck up if you haven't seen this already. Everybody buckle up. If you're MAGA, buckle up. If you're not, buckle up. This is one of the most shocking things I've seen in a long time come out of Tucker Carlson's mouth, which is saying something. And as a reminder, we got about an hour and 10 minutes left on the show today. About halfway through that gift goal, so thank you guys so much for supporting us. This is how we pay our bills. We're entirely crowd-funded here. A dollar train, we could knock out that gift goal in no time. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, or Super Chats is the way that you donate. And in advance already, we appreciate you.
Who supported him. You wrote speeches for him. I campaigned for him. I mean, we're implicated in this for sure.
Yes.
It's not
Thank you,
enough
Damien,
to
for the
say, well, I
Antifa
changed
dues.
my mind, or like, oh, this is bad, I'm out. It's like, in very small ways, but in real ways, you and me and millions of people like us are the reason this is happening right now.
Yes.
So I do think it's like a moment to wrestle with our own consciences. We'll be tormented by it for a long time. I will be. And I want to say I'm sorry for misleading people.
It is his brother. Thanks, Jackie.
And it was not intentional. That's all I'll say. But anyway, the question does present itself immediately, like, what is this? Was this always the plan? You don't want to be a conspiracy nut, but like, clearly there were signs of low character. We knew that.
Yes.
But it didn't, there are tons of people of low character who like outperform their character. It doesn't have to be.
Sort of the norm, actually, these days, I
right.
would say.
I've outperformed my character a lot. I don't have especially high character, right?
Yeah. Yeah, not particularly high character. The guy who got fired from Fox News for openly lying to his own audience. Now, he's underselling the fuck out of this. Him saying like they got duped by Trump and now they're finally realizing it. We've seen your emails, Tucker. We saw your emails at Fox News. You know you were lying the whole time. You were lying back then. We saw it. It's why you got fired. It's why Fox News got sued for just under $1 billion. You were all lying. So let's not, first of all, let's not give Tucker credit now because he's like, we really fucked up. He didn't mind lying to the American people about the election being stolen. It didn't bother him one bit.
But, you try your best. But
thanks, MT Clark.
But what was this? Was this
Natalie,
always the plan?
Looking back after the last year and a half, it seems like it kind of was. And it's easy. Well, you could get really deep about it and say, what was Butler? Like, how was it that
This is the weird one that's coming up. Marjorie Taylor Greene's talking about this. Candace Owens is talking about this. Now, suddenly everybody thinks it was fucking fishy what happened in Butler. Suddenly. We all saw it happen. Whatever happened there, it was fucking weird. The way that the Secret Service surrounded him, the way that he went down, the way that his ear magically recovered after getting hit by a bullet. We have that bullet and we have the bullet with Charlie Kirk, and none of these bullets seem to match. Like none of the wounds seem to match the bullet. Been saying it. Now, finally, and this is where I think we're at. I think that they see the writing on the wall. This is like the watershed moment for the conservatives. There are those who are going to go down with the ship with Donald Trump, and they believe that they will be welcomed back into the fold with open arms. And then there are those who see a sinking ship and are saying, I'm going to abandon this to maintain credibility. I don't have any idea if any of these people mean what they're saying or not, but there's clearly an exodus right now.
Ryan Ruth. I mean, he was subject to 2 legitimate assassination attempts. Have we ever gotten to the bottom? I know you've talked a lot about this, but have we ever gotten to the bottom of that?
I haven't talked a lot about it. I don't know the answer, but I know that those investigations have been stymied. Fact.
Yeah, stymied from the very top, from people who actually would have the power to get to the bottom of it.
And the motive.
Yes,
yeah,
very much. So the enormous amount of money he got from Miriam Adelson now seems suspect to a lot of people at the time, but there's a lot of money in politics. To run for president requires an enormous. I mean, Cackling Camel Toe went through $2 billion in 4 months. So
yeah, see how they do this? They just do this thing. They're like, look at all these awful things, but Cackling Camel Toe. It's just like actual sexism coming out. They're talking about Donald Trump being a patsy. Or not a patsy, an asset of Israel. And that they overlooked his character flaws to what's obvious now. And they're like, but at least it wasn't a black woman.
Sure, there's an argument to be made that you get money from those who will give it to you. It's just the nature of that game. But it's still reprehensible, and it's still a big question mark. Why would someone who has obvious and demonstrated allegiance to a foreign power give Donald Trump $250 million while he's running for president. I mean, how is that defensible? It's really not.
You all knew that, though, right? You all knew that. And you just shut the fuck up about it. And you kept promoting lies for Donald Trump.
If Russia had given a PAC for Trump, if the mayor of Moscow had somehow,
what if Russia paid conservative media influencers like millions of dollars? What if the Russian government was funneling money to conservatives? What if the Russian government was working with Cambridge Analytica in the first Trump administration? What do you mean, what if Russia was giving him money? Of course, Russia has been funneling money to conservatives ever since Trump's been around.
Assembled an enormous amount of money and put it in a...
My theory is that this is their way to blackmail the admin more, getting close to figuring it out, but then moving on like Rogan, money drying out. Yeah, maybe.
In a 501c3 for Trump's benefit. Would that have been acceptable? Of course it wouldn't have been. So what does someone... It's so basic, comes back to the money. Like, what did they get in return for that amount of investment? And it's clear.
I get it. No, I mean, of course, I agree with every word that you're saying.
Tax cuts? They got our entire government. Donald Trump has sold our government to private businesses. He literally gave, it's not just him. It was Biden too. But they literally gave NASA to Elon Musk. Now, our entire skeletal system of the government is just going to be run by Palantir. We know where it went. It's not Russia. It's fucking Israel. It's both, bud. It's both. Donald Trump will take money from everybody. There's not just one boogeyman here. Trump will take money from anyone and everyone. And there's not that much of a disconnect between Russia and Israel either.
I just think, given his behavior and his demonstrated disloyalty and viciousness to previous supporters.
Yes.
Why wouldn't he display the same lack of loyalty to Miriam Adelson? I mean, that's kind of the question. The only people he's been loyal to are the neocons and his donors.
Yeah, the donors. It's the donors. It's not the neocons. It's that the neocons have a bunch of money. I'm a DNC shill. Watch this. Fuck the DNC. DNC can kiss my ass. I've turned down money from the DNC. I don't know what you're talking about. It's crazy to think. Welcome to the show. This is not a DNC shill show. Just criticizing Donald Trump doesn't make somebody a DNC shill. We don't like them over here. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I want to get here because we can't keep pretending like this is a sane administration. I want to start with Caroline Leavitt being asked specifically about if we get everything we want out of these negotiations with Iran, which looks like it's not happening. J.D. Vance, I'm being told, canceled his trip, and now Iran's backing out of these negotiations. Doesn't look like we're going to get what we want. But even if we got everything we're asking for, the deal is not quite as good as Obama's deal. So I don't know what the fuck this war was for. And they're reporting, there's lots of reporting now coming out from multiple organizations, from inside leaks, that they are specifically trying to have meetings when Donald Trump isn't around because they don't trust his judgment. There are reports that he gave an order to General Kane to nuke Iran, and that General Kane refused it. Who knows? We'll never know. They're never going to tell us the truth. But here's Caroline Leavitt to come on and do what she always does and what all Trump people do. They deny everything and claim it's just hatred for Donald Trump, which is what your entire talking points have become. That you think nobody else can think clearly because they hate Donald Trump so much, and then you support nonsense garbage like we're the anti-war party, and then you're just so pro-war. And we point that out to you that you guys are hypocrites, and you're like, you're only pointing out that we're hypocrites because you hate Trump. That's the only talking point that even works at all. And here's Caroline Leavitt to give us that talking point.
It's incredibly frustrating, Sean, and if the American people want the truth, they definitely should not pick up the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal or watch CNN, especially these days in the midst of this incredibly successful military operation against Iran. It's almost like these...
Incredibly successful? we got any MAGA here? Can you tell me what success we've seen out of this military operation so far? What's the big success we've had in Iran? We're still in a war. And Iran's like, yeah, we're not going to give you what you want.
Legacy American media outlets were rooting for the Iranian regime over the American people, over our great United States military, because they are so rooted in their opposition to President Trump, rather than...
No, we're pointing out that you suck. I'm not rooting for Iran. We're calling balls and strikes here. You're not winning. And this is the crybaby bullshit. I'm going to get to Pete Hegseth here in a minute too. It is just nonstop. How come you're not saying we're winning when we're not? Why don't you just say that we're winning?
Speaking and reporting on the facts. The facts are the United States of America tonight have never been so close to making a truly good deal, unlike the horrific deal signed by Barack Hussein Obama, than we are right now. Why? Thanks to President Trump's brilliant...
You are rooting for Iran.
See, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you guys are just fucking dumb. I'm telling you what I'm saying here. This war is unwinnable. We're not going to win this war. We're getting nothing out of this war. I'm just stating facts. Trump tells us their military is destroyed. Well, they keep taking down our aircraft. Trump says that we're controlling the Strait of Hormuz. That's not true. What did we get? I asked you earlier, like, what have we got out of this? All I know is that you are rooting for Iran. I'm Team America. I root for them. Cool. I just want sensible foreign policy.
Negotiating tactics, and thanks to the success of Operation Epic Fury, a mission that he launched after 47 years of Iran being at war with the United States of America and having...
We've never been at war with Iran. That's crazy. Why are people just allowed to say this stuff? Why don't you guys give them pushback? We've been at war with Iran for 47 years? Then why aren't we calling it a war? How come 5 seconds ago she called it a military operation and not a war? If we've been at war, why don't you call it a war?
Presidents for 47 years who lacked the courage to do what President Trump finally had the courage to do. Our military...
He was so courageous. He was so courageous to drag us into a war. Thank you, President Trump. Trump went on with Joe Kernan today, and I've been very critical of Joe Kernan, and I will continue to do so. You're going to see that Joe Kernan still doesn't get a spine when Trump's around. But watch this morning as Joe Kernan correctly talks about the accurate numbers in inflation, and Donald Trump goes to fucking la land because he's a lunatic who has lost his fucking mind. And everybody, including Joe Kernan on the right, is so afraid of him that they won't correct obvious lies.
I just want to return for 1 second and make an analogy here. You saw what inflation did to the Biden legacy and administration. So 22% price increases. By the time he was leaving, it was down to about where it is now, about 3%. But not a single.
All right, let's go inflation by month. Let's just see what Trump's saying here, and let's ask why Kernan doesn't fact check this. Is this the right one? Yeah, there we go. One's kind of hard to see. Can I click on that graphic? You can't see it very well, so I'm just going to tell you that by August of 2024, it was 2.5%. Let me see if I can get to January of 2025. Sorry. Where's this one go to? Let's go. We can see what it was in January, I guess. Where was this chart? There it is. 3%. Okay. 3%.
It was down to 5%. It wasn't down.
Well, or 3, but not a single.
All right, let's hear that again. What did Donald Trump just say there?
Not a single.
It was down to 5%. It was.
He said it was 5% when he took over. Was it 5% when he took over? Okay, but let's hear him out. Maybe he meant something else.
Well, or three, but not a
And
single
the reason
person.
it was down was because I had won the election, and it started falling after I won the election, and I started getting prices down from right after November.
So he's saying in November it was at 5%, and then he got it down to 3%. It was 2.4%. Thank you. 3% year over year is the number I was citing there, Kate. But yeah, it was at 2.4%. You can look at even like CPI here. .4%. CPI is without food and energy, right? Or no, that's all items. Less food and energy, 2.8%. In January, when he took over, was 3%. It was 2. Where was it in November? 2.7 in November. So it actually went up. So now his lie here, he said it was 5% in November and it went down to 3%. It actually went up. So if he did have an effect on it, it went up. We can't find ourselves fact checking this lunatic on national. Why is he just allowed to lie like this? Why do you guys allow him to just lie like this? He makes us look so bad as a country. Where MAGA's going to get quiet now? I got to scroll up to see MAGA. Can somebody explain this to me? How it is that your president thinks we were at 5% in November and then it went to 3%? Keep going. Sorkin had a shot at him. And now we're about to admit something that you guys aren't going to like here.
There's a whole number of very large companies, including Apple and Amazon and others, that have not sought reimbursements yet for the tariffs, meaning they haven't tried to collect refunds. And from what I understand, part of the reason that they have waited is because there is a worry about, frankly, offending you. Would you find it offensive for them to try to collect a refund?
I think it's brilliant if they don't do that. I actually think if they don't do that.
Okay, so we taxed the rich corporations and they did nothing. I thought if we tax the corporations that everything will fall apart. Why did they do nothing? They're not even submitting refunds for these tariffs, so we can tax them more and it's fine?
They got to know me very well. I'm very honored by what you just said. If they don't do that, I'll remember them. I will tell you that, because I'm looking to make this country strong. Supreme Court could have helped us.
That sounds like a threat to me. We won't tax rich people, but we will threaten them. Why aren't they fleeing to other countries when we're taxing them?
Now they
One
have
Love, I don't know what you're
birthright
talking about, sorry.
citizenship. They'll probably rule against us. No country in the world has it. It's horrible for our country. And I just see it, you know. I see some of these Republicans that are nominated by me asking real bad questions, and looks like maybe we're going to lose that one too. Look,
that topic.
All right. So can we tax the rich or no? Tax it. Just take it from the poor. That's fine. All right. Now here's Kevin Hassett rewriting history on the economy. They're just pretending inflation doesn't exist now. What do you think he's going to say? Anybody guess what he's going to say when they start talking about inflation? I'm going to give you a second while I get a drink. What do you think he's going to point to? It's not going to. It's always the 99%. But like what? A better question. Like what product is he going to point to claim that there is no inflation? Yeah, we all hate America. We're going to change the name. We're going to take over America because we hate it, and then we're going to change the name. Eggs, exactly. How predictable are these people? It's eggs.
3.3 is definitely above what the Fed wants. That was the last number. Even if you use the core was 2.6, obviously. That's still too high. So the president had, when he did this, he knew affordability was on everyone's minds and midterms are coming up. This is a tough sell at this point when everybody's talking about affordability, especially if you don't think that it was an imminent threat, which we're hearing now from certain people.
what I could give the other side of it, Joe, I don't think it's a tough sell to say that we just had a 0.2 at core, which rounded up to 0.2 from the ones. 2.6 is the lowest that core inflation has been since before Biden inflation started. And so we've made a huge amount of progress. And then you remember core
progress? This is a huge amount of progress, this direct line up, higher than it's been at any other time during the presidency. They're calling this progress now.
Includes food and energy, but
how are you higher and it's progress?
One of the things that was the best news of the CPI report is all the work that we've done to reduce the price of food. And so when I came in,
now they're using core because this excludes food and energy. What do you think this line would look like if it included food and energy? Oh, we know what it would look like if it included food and energy. It would look like that. Do any of you give a fuck about this second number here? Or do you just care about like what things cost? That's what it looks like. Let's take out food and energy, and now we're doing well.
Work that we've done to reduce the price of food.
That's right. Line going up is positive in capitalism. We're winning. I forgot. My bad.
And so when I came in, the only thing everybody was talking about was the high.
There is a bigger plan, guys. Oh my God. What's the bigger plan? Teresa.
Price of eggs. Now egg prices are so low that farmers are actually complaining about it. Beef prices came down enormously because we opened.
I went and got a steak today. It was $14 for a single steak. When did beef prices come down? Did I miss that?
Up imports to beef, and so on. Even drug prices have come down because of Trump RX.
Drug prices are up. It's not true.
And so we've made a huge amount of progress on the individual items that affect inflation.
You missed it. What time was that? It was like at 5 a.m. It was just like a 1 hour window.
And then we're also, of course, addressing the macroeconomic issue of how you get inflation down, and that's by being a supply side. So you got increased supply that puts downward pressure on inflation, and cutting government spending, which went down by about the deficit by $400 billion last year.
No, that's true. Do you guys know why the deficit went down by $400 billion last year? May know. One, we did cut some government spending, but two, we brought in just under $200 billion in tariff revenue, which we all have to pay, which we have to pay back now. It's going to be down about $200 billion. That's what we saved last year with cutting all of this wasteful spending. And then with the new budget, we're just going to explode that anyways. What's wrong with me? I'm mad at our government because our government sucks. That's mostly what's wrong with me today. Thank you for asking. Back to Kernan now with Trump here. Now talking about Iran. This is a madman.
A long time ago.
So to be clear, you're saying that you need at least the prospects for a signed deal today and tomorrow, or else you would resume bombing Iran.
Well, I expect to be bombing because I think that's a better attitude to go in with. But we're ready to go. I mean, the military is raring to go. They are absolutely incredible. I built the military in my first term. I'm using it now. The military, when I took it over from Barack Hussein Obama, it was so depleted, so sad.
No, that's obviously not true.
And I built it in my first term. You remember those big numbers. You talked to me about it once.
All that money spent, and Iran's kicking your ass. Great. Thanks, bud. We got the biggest, bulkiest, least nimble military on planet Earth. We spend 100x what everybody else spends combined, and we can't do anything with Iran. Good job.
That's a lot of money for military. I built it. We did a great job with our military, and we're using it now and rebuilding it too. We've done a lot of rebuilding also in my first year of the second term. But we have a.
This dude just gets on TV and brags about shit that didn't happen, and we still love him. All right. If you ever wonder, am I an idiot or am I not an idiot? You should say, if I'm an idiot, I'm going to sound a lot like John Fetterman. And if I'm not an idiot, I'll sound like the opposite of John Fetterman. So you guys decide on your own. Do you sound like John Fetterman, the idiot, or not an idiot?
And that's easy for me. Yes, and so that's what's important to support. And we're heading to a strong end at this point.
Talking about the Iran war.
Sir, just to go back to something that you said just a moment ago in your answer, who in your party do you believe is cheering for Iran?
I'm saying it's like if you
Iran is not kicking anyone's ass. Where's their Navy and their Air Force? I don't know, but they seem to be having no problem keeping us from doing what we want to do. Trump and Hegseth keep saying we destroyed their Navy and their Air Force, but have you seen any evidence, or are you just believing them? Because they're shooting down our planes with no problem.
you are making it seem that we, America is not the force of good in
We're not.
the world.
We're not.
Criticizing America.
Correct.
Criticizing Israel.
Correct.
You have Iran, what they've done.
What have they
the
done?
Kinds of
What's Iran done? Name one thing Iran has done that is worse than what the United States or Israel has done. Let's play a game. You pick something Iran has done, and I'll tell you if the United States has done worse. Iran is, when I say Iran is winning, what I mean by Iran is winning is they have control of the Strait of Hormuz. And if you don't understand like how world currency now is being traded, Iran is able to still sell their oil. They have total control over the Strait of Hormuz. They're bleeding all of their adversaries dry, and nothing's like happening to them. They're not being taken over. We're nowhere near taking them over. And so now what do we do? Now they're calling our bluff. So what are we going to do? We're going to nuke them? For what reason? They do not have control of the Strait of Hormuz? Oh, really? Who has control of the Strait of Hormuz? Who does? They've had control, and then one day Trump's like, we actually control it now. If we control it, why is it not open? Because isn't that the point? Aren't we supposed to open it? Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis are all funded by Iran? Correct. And we also have funded all of those groups, and we also fund terrorists like Israel. Israel is far more destructive than the Houthis or Hamas. What's Israel doing in Lebanon right now? We're a much bigger problem than Iran. If you just say it, you open the Strait of Hormuz. Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good point. And now they're able to it's devaluing our currency now. If you know anything about like how they're trading gold now, or buying oil now, it's hard to buy oil. You can't use. It's hard to use the yuan. Is that what it is? The Chinese yuan. And so now you're seeing gold. Like if you're wondering why gold prices are going through the roof, because people are trading out gold for the Chinese yuan, and that's how they're purchasing oil now. And they're getting around all of these sanctions. Now Russia is able to sell their oil. Everybody that we had sanctions on suddenly doesn't have sanctions anymore. How are we winning? What part of this war is a win for you or for the United States of America? What are we getting from this war? Can you guys tell me that part? So I want the government to kill their opposition here in America like they do in Iran? No. Why would you even say that? Of course I didn't say that. Yeah, I know. Insult me, but tell me what's going on. How are we winning this war? What are we getting out of this? More than $2 billion a day we're losing. For what? We're not getting nuked? Yeah, well, they didn't have nukes. So cool. We were already not getting nuked. Anybody else? You said Iran has control of the Strait very confidently, like you have proof. Yeah, the proof is that they have complete control of the Strait of Hormuz. Because that's why Donald Trump threatened them to let boats through the Strait of Hormuz, and they said no. And now it's still closed. And now Trump's like, never mind, we're actually in control. So now, do you think Trump is controlling the Strait of Hormuz and not letting boats through? Russia sold 22 tons of gold since the start of 2026. Yeah, crazy. Everything you're saying, you're being told that and you're not there. Everything you're saying about me is exactly what I could say about you. It's stupid. Why would Trump threaten them and say, open the Strait of Hormuz? He literally said, like, open the Strait of Hormuz. He called them bastards. He's been yelling at them to open the Strait. But we have control of it the whole time. We've had control. Trump's playing. Is this 4D chess? I'm asking you, what do we got here? What are we getting out of this war? None of you have an answer to that, right? Remember, the start of this clip is if you sound like John Fetterman, you're the idiot. You sound a lot like John Fetterman.
You have Iran, what they've done, the kinds of outrage, with Iranians massacring tens and tens of thousands of Iranians.
There's no credible evidence that it was tens of thousands of Iranians. Last I saw was like 7,000.
Just recently for that.
Recently.
Now, if you're going to continue to vote against our military, if you're proud to vote against defensive kinds of systems like Iron Dome for Israel, and you can continue to vote down something that is going to fail, that actually must absolutely excite Iran to see.
Why is he sound like Nick Shirley now? What is he talking about?
The way that many people, in the Democratic Party, doesn't back the attempts to try to break and destroy the Iranian regime to acquire a nuclear bomb.
Yeah. Guys, don't worry. Trump's over there liberating the people of Iran by murdering the people of Iran. God, how fucking dumb do you have to be? They were killing their people, so now we're going to kill their people. Huh? How is us killing their people making up for them killing their people?
So I know you and I have spoken a number of.
She's confused. He's not one. I'm not a Democrat, Ice Ice Baby. I know this is what projection looks like. You guys are just like Team Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I can't fucking stand John Fetterman. It's a problem. See how easy it is to criticize people and not just like play team sports. Illusion said I'm obsessing over the Iran Hormuz stuff. W coverage. Thanks. Well, apparently we have control over the Strait of Hormuz, so I fucked this whole thing up. Donald Trump tweeted it, so we have it. Please join Substack. I have a Substack. I don't even know how to work it though. All right. All right. Sorry to do this to all of you guys. He temporarily shut the strait. It wasn't. Why did he tell them? What the fuck? He told them to open it. It's been closed. What do you mean he temporarily shut it? Wait, let me find the quotes. You can't all be this dumb. What do you think we've been arguing about with them? This one? Ah, shit, that's behind a paywall. Quote from Trump on April 5th, which was Easter. Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. Why is he screaming at them to open the fucking straits if they don't control it? Want to explain that to me, please? Open the fucking straits, you crazy bastards, he said. No, we totally control it. He was talking to himself. All right. I apologize for this, but Megyn Kelly's also out on Iran. This is a longer clip. We'll watch this till we can stomach it. Let me check comments real quick. We got about 30 minutes left. I'll update the gift goal here. If you can help us knock that out by the end, that'd be great. I know not everybody can gift. If you can't, that's fine. Just engage with the content however you can. But if you can help us knock out that gift goal, that's how we continue to do this. We know where the economy is. We know times are tough, so we appreciate anything that you can spare to help us out. Keep this show going. If we did a dollar trend, I think there's like 153 left in the gift goal or something like that. We can knock that out quick, fast, and in a hurry. Shout out HVAC wherever you are.
You got to say the deal sounds very much like surrender on our part, which I'm in favor of. I mean, great. This needed to end. Ugly or any other way. It needed to end. It was folly to begin with. It was folly throughout. It remains folly. I'm sure Mark Levin and Lindsey Graham were feeling really, really good until the end part where we had to end it. And now they're very, very angry. Mark Levin was practically in tears on Fox News last night because we didn't see it through, I guess, with the nuclear bomb that we were going to drop on Iran. We didn't go in commando style and seize all the uranium. We allowed, according to the Israelis, according to the Iranians, that is, the war against Hezbollah to stop, which he wants seen through. He would love to see Lebanon completely bombed and to be made to look like Gaza.
Why aren't we stopping it? Trump said the other day that we can't bomb Lebanon anymore, or that Israel can't bomb Lebanon anymore. Can somebody, one of these MAGA fucks here, tell me why Israel's bombing Lebanon? I don't know why they're bombing Lebanon.
And there was really no point to going forward other than more death and destruction. The Iranians proved to be tough MFers, and they realized that they had something far more powerful than a nuclear bomb. They had control over the Strait of Hormuz.
Watch his actions instead of his words. Yeah, I am watching his actions, and his actions is he makes threats and then he backs down every single time, and Iran calls his bluff every single time.
And Trump was warned prior to getting involved in this conflict.
Yeah. Listen, we all know it's the greater Israel project. We know. I'm just trying to ask MAGA why we're bombing Lebanon. Yeah. Israel wants land grabs. Israel's just taking land right now. They're just expanding. They're just doing exactly what Germany was doing. They did a genocide and then tried to expand their footprint.
The chairman of the Joint Chiefs, that they were not likely to collapse easily and that they probably would maintain control of the strait and could cause a global economic panic. And he didn't listen. What he did with the Dan Cain warnings was rush to Truth Social, Trump did, saying, all Dan Cain knows how to do is win. And if I tell him to invade, he's going to win. Well, that's not really what happened. There was never any question we could decimate their Navy or their Air Force. Of course, no one would ever second guess the power of the U.S. military. It's pristine and it's impeccable and it's truly awe-striking. But these battles in the Middle East have been fought now for 20 plus years, and we continue to learn the same lesson over and over. It is not their overwhelming air power or their incredible navies that keep us mired in quagmires. It's their insurgencies. It's this disparate way of fighting that we don't know how to handle. We can't tamp down with the amazing power of an aircraft carrier.
So again, and that's enough out of Megyn Kelly. I just want to show that real quick.
Which, by the way, we had trouble.
How are we winning? What's the point here of this war? This war is going to last a week longer than it needed. Every day this war has existed has been longer than it needed. This war makes no fucking sense. We're getting nothing from this. Talk about Germany, you sound like a bunch of anti-Semites. That's exactly what I'd expect a fucking dipshit to say. Yeah.
You're talking, well, all Germany did was a genocide while at the same time doing land grabs. What's Israel doing? A genocide and land grabs. How could you even say those things are the same? That's anti-Semitic.
Got it. What's different? We have nothing to lose. Iran has everything. We have nothing to lose. We lose $2 billion a day. I see what you're saying there. I know you're not defending the war, but like we have a lot to lose here.
That deal was bullshit.
Why was it bullshit? Why was the Iranian nuclear agreement bullshit? And how do we know if we come up with a new agreement, how are we going to make sure that Iran tells the truth with this new agreement? How are we going to do that? Jamar says, my 2-year-old made more sense when he woke up this morning than John Fetterman did in that interview. Jennifer, thank you very much. Kyle says, thanks for the dedication to providing a great stream. Norma, thanks for joining the Dollar Train along with Sean. Appreciate you guys very much. I keep asking, P for personality said, read your full message. Possibly cannot watch them. Write your message again. I'll read it. I don't understand why you think the entire deal was bullshit. They weren't enriching uranium anywhere near 60%. It was at 3.6%. Strong stream, good prostate. That's right. But again, I do. Can we just point out that I keep asking you guys why we're fighting this war and you don't have any answers for that? Shouldn't that bother you that you don't have an answer for why we're in this war? I don't know. The Trump, at first they said it was about saving the Iranians, but we're just killing them. Then it was about the nuclear program. Now it's about opening the Strait of Hormuz, which was open. So we had a nuclear program that wasn't enriching uranium anywhere near 60% until Trump withdrew from that agreement. Now they are. The Strait of Hormuz was open for business. Now it's not. What are we doing here? Don't appreciate them desecrating the Jesus statue. I don't know anything about that. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Snizzler. Appreciate you guys. Jackie said, wild fucking times we live in. That's for goddamn sure. Israel taking homes at gunpoint. Yeah, those settlers. It's gross. Still looking here. Like, can none of you have one? None of you have a reason for why we're doing this? They'll find the WMDs this time. They got it. All right. Let me just go here. I want to get down to Pete Hegseth's temper tantrum. Pete Hegseth is... I don't think Pete Hegseth's going to last. I really don't. I think that he's clearly falling apart. Pete Hegseth cannot speak without a teleprompter. He can't speak without written word. This is the person that's in charge of our military, right? And we're in a war, whether they want to call it a military operation or not. And it would be nice if he was focused on war, but he seems to be entirely focused on his own personal war with the media. And he wrote this shit down. Notice he's reading this. This is what he thought would be a good use of his time.
Speaking of choosing wisely, a note to the press corps, to the American media. As I just can't help but notice the endless stream of garbage, the relentlessly negative coverage, you cannot resist peddling, despite the historic and important success of this effort and the success of our troops.
What's the success? We'll ask you, MAGA, what successes have we had in Iran that we should be celebrating?
Troops. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what side some of you are actually on. It's incredibly unpatriotic. This same press corps.
You guys don't love the Star Spangled Banner as much as I do. I don't like it when you keep telling people that we're not winning.
Not this exact same press corps, but at least an older press corps, bent over backwards.
The media are crooked liars, whiners, and hate mongers. Okay, this is a guy who said kill all Muslims. He does nothing but cry like a bitch. And he has lied repeatedly to everybody, including you, his nonprofits, his military unit, his wives. You're just describing Pete Hegseth here, like the whiniest bitch. Like, this is such bitch behavior for the Secretary of Defense. Quick, find me another Secretary of Defense who spent this much time crying about the media. Do your fucking job, man. Just go do your fucking job.
Bent over backwards during the Biden administration to explain away, the disastrous and disgraceful Afghanistan withdrawal. You called it the greatest airlift in American history. It's almost like you're cheering only for one side.
Wouldn't that be America? What do I call what I'm doing? I would say mocking. I'm not complaining. I'm mocking. Sometimes I complain, but today I'm mocking. Here's a question. Here's Pete Hegseth. Let's see if he can get this right. Explain to us, Pete Hegseth, how you're controlling the Strait of Hormuz, please.
But it's not destroyed yet. Your energy industry is not destroyed yet. You like to say publicly, Iran, that you control the Strait of Hormuz, but you don't have a navy or real domain awareness.
Then why is Trump rage tweeting, open the fucking strait? If they're not controlling it, why is the president losing his fucking mind on Easter morning, telling them to open the strait? This is it's so pathetically bad. And when I say like this is unprecedented, we've never had a Secretary of Defense like this. We've never had somebody come out here and just crybaby bitch all fucking day. It's all he does. And then just rewrite history. They're not controlling it. We are. Huh? In what world is the United States controlling the strait? And whenever we hear that, we're like, who believes this shit? And then we check the chat and we're like, oh, found him. We found him. I believe everything they say.
You can't control anything. To be clear, threatening to shoot missiles and drones at ships, commercial ships that are lawfully transiting international waters, that is not control.
Threatening to shoot. Okay, so they're shooting at ships, so ships aren't coming through, so they've got the strait closed. So now we're back to explaining how they have closed the Strait of Hormuz that they have not closed, and how they're controlling the Strait of Hormuz, but they're not controlling the Strait of Hormuz. Got it.
That's piracy.
Oh.
That's terrorism.
Okay.
The United States Navy.
It's not piracy if you don't steal their cargo, right?
Controls the traffic going in and out of the strait because we have real assets and real capabilities. And we're doing this blockade, performing it with less than 10% of America's naval power.
So they're blocking all the oil now. So now they're like, Iran's not doing this. We're actually the one fucking up the global economy. So now we're the terrorists? Thank you. Awesome. Like, it's only terrorism when Iran does it. When we do it, we're the good guys.
The math is clear. We're using 10% of the world's most powerful navy, and you have 0% of your navy. That's real control, and we have a long track record of dealing with pirates and terrorists.
We do? What's our long track record of dealing with pirates? I don't know much about that. The war on terrorism, how'd that go? Do we still have terrorists? Yeah. Is it huge? Are there more groups now? Yeah. I don't think we won that one either. Now, Hegseth is asked by a reporter about the U.S. intelligence that is claiming that China is supplying them. And, of course, Pete Hegseth is going to be an emotional little bitch here.
Number one in this effort. Last question.
Thank you, Secretary Hegseth. There's reporting that says U.S. intelligence indicates China is preparing weapons shipments to Iran during this ceasefire. What's your reaction? Are these reports accurate? And what would be the consequences for the Chinese if they move forward with these shipments?
Well, as you know, President Trump has a very strong and direct relationship with President Xi.
No, we don't know that. He just keeps fucking saying that. There is absolutely no evidence that Donald Trump has a great relationship with President Xi. Xi has been beating his ass in trade negotiations over and over and over again. We tried to kill their electric car industry, and all that happened is every other country realized that BYDs were better than Teslas. They do not have a close relationship. Donald Trump is Xi's bitch. We have the weakest fucking president of our lifetime. Xi bends him over repeatedly and takes whatever the fuck he wants.
They've communicated on that, and China has assured us that that indeed is not going to happen.
I just took his word for it. Nah, we're not doing that. Trump's like, all right. Okay, well, where's Iran getting all these weapons? They're just building them in real time. Russia's not sending them to them. China's not sending them to them. Where are they getting them?
In the spirit of the meeting they'll have next month. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Number one.
Wait, does anybody want to tell me where Iran's getting these weapons from? Is Israel selling them? My mom? It could be my mom. She does tend to sell weapons from time to time. All right, I want to get here. This is Vali Nasser. This was really enlightening. One of the more underreported things, and we cover the day-to-day stuff in Iran, which every day kind of seems like the same thing now, just like this stalemate. But what isn't being reported very often is the damage that this is doing to our allies. And we often talk about our allies like NATO and the UN and the European countries, but we've done a lot of work in the Gulf, creating allies. But now our allies are feeling unsafe. And I'm not sure how much longer they're going to be willing to go on and continue to be attacked for our actions, despite them not doing anything. Now they're being attacked because they're housing the United States military. And how much longer are they willing to be attacked?
In the Gulf countries towards Iran, because they believe not only Iran has attacked them and violated their territorial sovereignty, but actually has destroyed their economies, particularly in UAE and to some extent Qatar and Saudi Arabia, where they had invested in these future economies that relies a lot on trust of the international community.
Nicole, you're welcome to come up here and talk to me. I don't debate from the chat. There's a lot of different messages. You can come up here. You can message GenDub1 on Discord. You can come up and you can correct any of my information. But yeah, I can't read all of your comments, bud.
The stability of the Gulf, to invest in it, that they are extremely angry Yes, Iran says, well, the bases are there and therefore we had to hit the bases, but this is not an argument that the Arabs accept. So there is enormous amount of anger. But there are scenarios in which, let's say, they may join the war in a much bigger way. But we'll see that have its own implications. But I think once the war ends, I think there are certain realities we have to live with. One is that it's very, very clear now to the Gulf countries that the United States will not defend them either against Israel or against Iran. Right?
That's a reality that they're dealing with. We're not going out of our way to protect the Saudis or the Qataris. They're getting bombed, and we're just like, sorry, that's the way it is. We're going to destabilize your whole region. If you're in Saudi Arabia and you're looking at the destabilization of your region, you're looking at the damage being done to your country, you're looking at lives lost. Ask yourself, like, what are you doing this for? What's the point?
Because it didn't protect, and in fact, it doesn't even protect any Gulf country against its neighbor Gulf countries. So when Saudi Arabia and UAE went after Qatar, United States...
Now I know why we're not talking to Nicole. Israel is the Holy Land and must be protected. That's why I'm ignoring you, because you say dumb shit like that.
Did not defend it. Then when Israel attacked Qatar, the U.S. didn't defend it. And now that Iran is attacking Qatar, U.S. is not defending it. So either it doesn't want to defend them or it cannot defend them. Now, whichever way you take this, it basically means that they have now a security dilemma. As much as they might be angry at Iran and dislike Iran, they still have to figure out how they're going to protect themselves.
All right, so we're not going to protect them. But then moving on here, this is Jim Hansen, former Special Forces and also CEO of World Strategies, I think is what it's called. This was I think this was actually, on the 14th of April. Looking around, even those that are supportive, like this is somebody who is, again, former Special Forces. This is somebody who makes their money in the military. They're all just kind of saying this feels really incoherent. It's really hard with all these people with all this expertise. They're having a really hard time understanding what the plan here is, what the objective here is, and it seems to be just disrupting the entire world for no reason.
We've gone from wanting regime change to total surrender.
No, I agree with you, Nicole, that that I do agree that it's the Holy Land and the only reason it gets protected is the way it does. Yes, I believe that a bunch of dumb motherfuckers think that the Bible says that Israel is the Holy Land in Jerusalem and therefore we must allow them to commit genocide. I think it's fucking dumb. I think your book doesn't. First of all, the Bible doesn't even say that. You guys have interpreted it to say that. The state of Israel, the country of Israel, does not exist, is not cited anywhere in the Bible. It doesn't talk anything about the United States of America. There is no such thing as Judeo-Christian values. The two religions are in opposition to each other far more than like Muslims and Christians. Muslims and Christians at least have like an understanding of Christ that is similar. The Jews think that Christ was literally a fake prophet. So before you get mad at me, just remember that this Holy Land that we're protecting, you as Christians, they all think that Jesus was a con man. They all think that Jesus was a false prophet. They all think that Jesus was a phony. They believe in a savior, but they think you've got the fake one. Okay? They don't like your religion. You don't share an ideology with them. They don't believe in the New Testament. All that shit Jesus said in the New Testament about bringing in the new law, they don't believe that that's true. They are going back to the Old Testament. So you guys are diametrically opposed to each other. The Jews believe in the Old Testament or the Torah and then their scripture, and you believe that the New Testament replaces all of that. The Muslims are like, hey, Jesus was a prophet. I think they think he was a prophet, right? They believe that he was, that the Immaculate Conception was real. Not the Jews. No, they believe that whole fucking story is made up. That this is just a con man that took prophecy of a coming savior and ran with it. Like they look at Jesus the same way we look at David Koresh and the Branch Davidians or Jim Jones. The same way that a lot of you probably look at Joseph Smith from like the Mormon prophet or Warren Jeffs. That's how they view Jesus. Just so we're clear, you do not share values with them. You are sitting in the corner while they are fucking your religion in the ass and openly mocking you. And you're like, we're on the same team. Yay! No, they don't give a fuck about your religion. They believe that a different savior is going to show up and prove all of you wrong. What an interesting scenario you have found yourself in, defending this group of people who thinks that in the near future, all of you will be proven to be wrong about your religion. Cool. How fucking dumb do you have to be to think like to be on the Ben Shapiro Judeo-Christian values train? I pray for all of them. Do you pray for the Muslims? You pray for the Muslims in Iran, Amber? I don't know if that was, actually, it wasn't Amber that was talking. Sorry. You pray for the Muslims? Or we just bomb the Muslims? We got to protect Nicole? Damn straight, I'll stand with Jewish people before I stand with Islam. Why? Why do you stand with the Jewish faith over the Islamic faith? Let's not talk about murder. Okay, let's not talk about terrorism because state of Israel, that's a terrorist state. They do a hell of a lot of terrorism. Let's not do that. Why would you stand with the Jew that at least Muslims believe in Jesus? Sorry, Amber. I forgot it was my bad. I love that answer from you. If you got a second, explain to me why you're more loyal to the Jewish faith than the Muslim faith. Nothing? Why divide it in the first place instead of bringing people together? I don't know. Religious people stop fighting wars. I don't know. I'm not religious. I don't think we should be fighting over religion. I think that's silly. My favorite Harry Potter book is the first one. Some people's favorite Harry Potter book's the fourth one. We shouldn't have a war over that. Just letting you know, the Bible does use the word Israel over and over. Yeah, but it doesn't talk about the state of Israel. No, you didn't have an answer for that? All right, we'll keep going.
To now, the main theme is we've got to stop Iran getting a nuke.
Ty said, dear Iran, take care of that gifted plane.
And so on. And it's all been very confusing and very inconsistent. But ultimately, if at the center of this is Donald Trump's claim that Iran must be stopped from developing a nuclear weapon, can this war be perceived to be successful if the enriched uranium, which Iran possesses, remains in Iran in their possession?
Well, to extend the metaphor, I'd say that's the Holy Grail. You have to get that. And I don't think there has been a shifting of goalposts. The goal all along has been to stop Iran.
Thank you, Lisa. Thanks for the continuing education. Got about 10 minutes left, guys. I do have a hard cutoff today. I got to go pick up my daughter. I'll update the gift goal. And if you want to help us knock that out, I know it's a slower day. That'd be greatly appreciated. If not, we will see you in the morning, but about 10 more minutes.
Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, being able to develop one, having the initiative to do it, having the ability, having the ballistic missile programs and other conventional arms that protect them and stop other people from going in and removing that capability. So from that perspective, all of those things have at least been put on hold or set back decades. Their defense industrial base is non-existent at this point. They're running out of missiles and drones and everything else. And I think at some point you have to look at what President Trump's decision was. He had to either take the fact that they had begun trying to develop their nuke program again.
Allegedly. Again, we don't even know if that's true. That seems to be information that comes from Israel, which not super reliable.
Which has one purpose. Let's not pretend it's about nuclear power. It never has been. It's always been about the Islamic Revolution's bomb. And he said, if we don't do something to stop that at this point, they're going to continue. And at some point, another president is going to see a mushroom cloud. He's not going to be the guy who kicked the can down the road.
Just fear-mongering. They tried. Like, it's incoherent. And then they're like, but there was this very real threat where we were going to get nuked. No. Says who? I'm sorry. I have seen zero evidence that Iran was ever going to attack us with a nuclear weapon. I've seen nothing even remotely credible. I've just heard a lot of fear-mongering. My Nightbot sucks. Yeah, people don't like the Nightbot that much. I don't know how to do anything with that. Talk to Jen. I think it takes care of a lot of shit that you guys probably don't see. All right. Let me go down here. All right. I want to talk a little bit about religion just while we go, while we're on it. Let me just say this real quick. To our religious friends, I think it's fine that you have religion. I think it's absolutely fine. If your religion drives you towards hatred of other religions or drives you towards thinking that war is the only option, then fuck your religion. If you want to believe in Jesus, if you want to believe in Muhammad, if you want to believe in Buddha, I don't give a fuck. But if your religious beliefs lead you to places where you can justify genocide and murder, then fuck your religion, respectfully. And I like some people say like we're just fundamentally different than Muslims. No, those are all choices. It's a story that you've told, and you've decided that it is part of who you are. It's not. It's just a choice that you've made to believe that. I don't need to respect that. I don't need to respect any of you who justify war with your bullshit fucking religions. By the way, like I've read all your books. None of this stuff is in the book. None of it. There's wars in the book. None of this. This isn't in there. Talking about Islam? Sure. Talking about Christianity? Sure. Talking about all these religions. Dude, like if your religion leads you to do violent things, then I don't have any respect for you or your religion. You're just a piece of shit who hides behind religion. Well, some things are just necessary. Why? So one of you guys can win? Look, guys, we murdered the most people, so our religion's the goodest. God was on our side. That's why they're all dead now, because God. Good fucking deal that is. Good fucking deal your religion is. Isn't that what the Crusades were? How come in order for your religion to be right, so many people have to die? You think that there's this loving God, right? I'll never understand this. There's this God, he's up in heaven, he created all of us. I'm a parent, some of you guys are parents. I love my daughter. There's not a fucking thing in this world I wouldn't do for my daughter. I love my daughter far more than I love myself. I would gladly sacrifice my life for my daughter's life. Gladly. So as a parent, I'm supposed to believe that God, who makes everybody, sends down all these people, all of his children. He's like, that person believes only this book, and that person believes only this book, and that person believes only this book, and only one of my sects of my children is correct. So this sect over here that's correct, they got to go murder all of these people. And they're going to know that their religion was right based on if they murder more people. Where's that in the book? Can you show me that in the book where it says that, like, if you murder the most people, your religion's correct? I have no respect for anybody who uses their religion to justify treating people poorly, murdering people, discriminating against people. Maybe I should take a trip to the Middle East and see why Israel's attacking them back. Listen. I don't think I would disagree with the idea that Israel's attacking them back, because Israel seems to be, like, if you follow the timeline all the way back, it does seem to be Israel starting this most of the time. But even if I accepted your premise that Israel was attacking them back, I have the same fucking problem with radical Muslims. It's the same fucking problem. See, what you're doing is like, they're shitty, so we're shitty. You know who's not shitty? Atheists. You know who doesn't fight about their religious beliefs? Atheists. You know who doesn't fight about fucking fairy tales? Atheists, non-religious people. Stop. I'm talking about all of you. There's 3 different religions involved in this war. All of you have different ideas of what Jerusalem is and what the birthright is. Stop fucking murdering people over a book that is verifiably untrue. Every one of your books
If you're Jewish, if you're Muslim, if you're Christian, they all contradict each other all the time. All of your scripture contradicts itself repeatedly. It doesn't make any fucking sense. There's no such thing as a worldwide flood. Women were not made from a goddamn motherfucking rib. That did not happen. Nobody turns into a pillar of salt for looking back at a city that God destroyed because they were butt fucking each other. This is all made up bullshit. I don't like, if you want to believe it, but don't use it to justify murdering people. All of these religions, every religion with extremists who choose to use their religion as a justification to perform acts of violence on other religions can respectfully and disrespectfully goeth and fucketh thyself. I grew up religious. I grew up Mormon. You know what Mormons will never tell you? They'll never tell you that a group of people were coming from Missouri to California. And some people, some just random people from Missouri happened to kill the prophet, their original prophet, Joseph Smith. So when more people came in through Utah, just going to California to mine for gold, the Mormons decided to murder them. All of them, except for the children 2 and under, who they kidnapped and raised as their own. Mormons won't tell you that. But if you go and you read the letters and you hear what they were saying, it was all completely justified. It was justified to murder these people because they killed the prophet. That was God's mouthpiece. God thought that was warranted. And you know what? You know why the people in Missouri didn't like the Mormons? Because they tried to murder the governor. You can look this up. His name was Wilburn Boggs. The Mormons tried to kill him. They tried to assassinate him. And they were run out. I'm so fucking tired of you. They started it. I don't know who started it. I don't know. But your LARP has gotten fucking out of control. Get yourself some pool noodles. Get yourself some better costumes. Get yourself some Nerf guns and go fight it out at the fucking park. Stop killing people over your religion. Stop it. And stop justifying it. For the life of me, I can't understand Christians like, the Muslims are the bad ones. Oh, okay. Pete Hegseth's not a bad one? Kill all Muslims? He wants to kill all Muslims? All of them. Nicole, I am 100% sure, 100% sure, just by seeing your comments, that I know 20 times more about your religion than you do. I was a devout Christian. Devout. I took 2 years of my life, unpaid. In fact, I paid for 2 years of my life to do missionary work, and not the kind of missionary work that you do with your church where you go to Africa and one day you do a little work, but the rest of the time it's just like you go on a sightseeing trip. I went 2 years door to door every day, woke up at 6:30 every day, read the Bible for 2 straight hours every day from 6:30 until 8:30 every fucking day, and then every night for another hour. I've read the New Testament and the Old Testament multiple times. I've read the Torah. I've read what is Ellen G. White? I forget what she wrote, which is the Seventh-day Adventist. I've read the scripture from the other ones, the Jehovah's Witness. I promise I know more than you do. You're just indoctrinated, and it's sick. It's really fucking sick that you guys can go to church every Sunday and pretend like you're good people, and then come out here. It's fucking Tuesday. You didn't even make it very long. On Tuesday, you're like, we got to murder some motherfuckers. Fuck their religion. They have to die because they believe different than we do. And it's not even the right one. Like, you're mad at the Muslims. They're closer to you than the Jews. If you're going to be mad at somebody's doctrine like it's so opposed to yours, be mad at the Jews. But again, I'm going to say, don't be mad at the Jews either, because it's all just a religion that you all made up. What you literally, Nicole, don't say you research what's going on. You said that the reason that we protect Jerusalem is because it's the Holy Land. That's correct. God does it. God needs it. I thought this dude was all powerful. How come God needs us to murder a bunch of girls at a school? How come God needs us to murder so many innocent people in apartment buildings? All powerful God can't win this one himself? Why didn't he just show up and tell him? How about he just comes down and is like, hey, it's me. It's Christianity. That's the right one. Why does he need so much? Why does he need you guys to murder so many people? There we go. Yeah. Go after me as a man and as a father. Yeah. Listen, I'll put up my fatherhood against any one of you motherfuckers. Any one of you motherfuckers. My daughter's not going to be a fucking idiot sitting on the internet talking about how she needs to murder people from other religions. Oh, yeah, almost coherent, right? Yeah. I'm tired of your religions. They suck. Tired of these religious wars. They suck. Thank you, Susan. Alberto, thank you very much. Becky, also thank you very much. Alyssa, thank you. Thank you, Alter Ego, for the gifted memberships. Tantrum said, facts, bro, say it again. GOP Jesus sketch if able. Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's do that. If you don't think there's a creator, you're a fool. Shut up. See, that's your problem. If you don't believe this thing that I believe that I have no evidence of, then you're a fool. Well, there's better explanations for how this earth was created than just a dude up there. That's a crazy thing to say. If you want to believe it, but don't criticize other people because we don't just blindly believe something that has no scientific evidence. Let's do it. It's Republican Jesus, right? We'll end on that.
Truly I say unto you, whoever welcomes one of these little ones in my name might be letting in a murderer or a drug. Let's get her to a detention center, so we can figure out what's going on. I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. And behold, now I'm all lazy and entitled. You shouldn't have done that. Do unto others as you suspect they might want to do unto you.
Bro, is that not every one of them right now defending this war? Murder the Iranians because if you don't, they'll murder you. Is that not exactly, like this was made a few years ago, but is that not exactly what they're doing?
Suspect they might want to do unto you. What is a man profited if he gain the whole world but lose his soul? A lot. He has profited a lot. One soul for the whole world, that is an amazing deal. Why do you look at the speck of dust in your brother's eye but ignore the plank in your own? Because of her emails. Yes. If a man strikes you on the right cheek, turn to him.
Right, Shane said, hey, Amber, show me the lineage of Jesus. Casca said, Jesus only ever preached love and compassion and acceptance. I know. That's a good point. For the Christians, they should be aware of that. And they should be, again, you should understand that your Judeo-Christian values are not shared because they think Jesus was a con man.
And shoot him. That is the law. If you want to be perfect, go. Sell all the possessions that you have and give the money to a solid...
We're going to put out the people that are like mocking God. You're the people that don't say Voldemort. Like you're the bitches in Harry Potter. They're like, you can't criticize. Listen, if the God that I read about is real, it's not the same God you worship. Like I read the Bible. I've read the New Testament. The New Testament God would not justify genocide.
Mutual fund. By this they will know that you are my disciples. That you say, Merry Christmas! Christ! Christmas! That's my name in there, and I put it in there because I wanted it in there so we can all celebrate Big Boy Jesus' birthday time! Okay? Okay.
Amber, don't pray for us. Pray for those people that you're advocating the genocide of and the murder of. Pray for the people in Iran that are dying senselessly because of your the dipshits that you support and psychopaths like Pete Hegseth. Save your breath. Don't worry about, I'm going to hell. Most of us are going to hell anyways. Don't worry about us. See what you can do about saving the lives of innocent children in Iran who are losing their lives for no fucking reason.
Rabbi, surely you can heal me.
My child, of course I could. But who would pay for it?
What? I don't understand. I don't have any money.
Yes, it is a sad story, but it does not make me responsible. It is super duper easy for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. The richer, the better, really. Maybe get a solid gold house, just to be sure. Love your neighbor as yourself. Unless you are better than your neighbor, then tell them that they're weird.
Thanks, Amber. I appreciate you praying for me, but please pray for the innocent children being murdered in Iran first.
and you do not want to bake them a cake. You have heard it said, thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say to you, any man who looks upon a woman with lust in his heart should go ahead and do what he's got to do.
Lord, your followers grow hungry, and we have only this fish and bread.
Oh, sweet.
That is Mark 7:9. You have a clever way of rejecting God's law in order to uphold your own teaching. That's basically the best explanation for this chat. We should probably just do like a Christian chat one day. We should just read the New Testament and watch, see how well you line up with the New Testament. Curtis, happy to debate you anytime. My show, I'm 10 minutes over now. If you come back tomorrow or any day, any weekday, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time, you're welcome to join at any point. You have to message GenDub1 on Discord, and you are welcome to come up here and talk to me about anything. But not today. All right, thank you. Thanks for whoever made that suggestion. I don't remember who it was. I've been trying to get you to play that for months. I've played it before. Don't want to play it too many times. It loses its pizzazz. All right, I'm cooked. I'm absolutely cooked. Woke up at 3:30 this morning. I got to go find some energy for my daughter. For my Christian friends, I didn't mean to offend you. Some of you I did mean to offend, but I do want to just say, for the record, if you believe in a God or if you are any of these religions, I have absolutely no problem with your beliefs. And I have no problem with you believing and worshiping the way that you want. I think that that's a great thing. However, if you use your beliefs to justify murder, I'm going to be upset about it, and I'm going to say mean things to you. And you need to do as Jesus said and turn the other cheek and deal with it. But please stop using your religion to justify war and murder. And try and be a little bit more like Jesus, who, remember, when they came to kill all-powerful, almighty Jesus, he didn't fight back. He laid down his life for his friends. He was unwilling to be violent. He was a pacifist in every single way. And the entire New Testament is basically telling you to be a pacifist, to take your money and give it to the poor, to take care of the needy. And it seems like a lot of you go out of your way to miss that part of the story. So we will end this on a prayer that you guys read your New Testament and learn something new. And then when you're done with that, go outside and touch grass. Everybody, go outside and touch grass. If you can't touch grass, smoke grass. And if you can't smoke grass, best of luck to each and every one of you. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your mental health. Love those that are around you. Love your neighbors as Jesus loves you. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. Stay cute and cool. Have a great summer.